работает!
Not quite enough to make this fully work. To grab 3 booyahs in a row, and suddenly
Судишка просто врывается в упор, начинает расстреливать. Коса работает!
Очень мало хп.
Алби в упоре, но он ногой первого, ногой второго, максимум.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome back for the finale of the EMEA Invitationals, where we're going to be seeing the 12 best teams who've climbed the mountain to be able to get their places here. And you're going to get taken through this by Abstract, the wonderful caster to my side, then also myself, Tom Pickering. And it's going to be a day to remember. There's $200,000 on the line. We're going to be seeing all this broken down as to how this works over the next couple of minutes. But Abstract, I mean, I'm going to ask the default question. How are you feeling about today?
Of course, right? When it comes down to how am I doing today, I would say that I am doing pretty darn good, because I know for a matter of fact that someone is going back home with a bag of money. And let's be honest, we gotta have to be happy for the team that will be able to walk back home with all those money, because happiness begets happiness, and so on and so forth.
You don't see an unhappy person on a ski jet or whatever they're called, do you? Or a jet ski. There you go. Get it right eventually on that front. But yeah, it's going to be a little bit stressful, I think, for a lot of these teams. I'm interested to see if any of them are going to crack under the pressure. They've obviously all had to get to this point in the first place, but obviously Silence did absolutely amazing last weekend, but they are still a little bit fresh-faced. So I'm wondering how they're going to be able to cope with today's pressure. What do you think?
I mean, when it comes down to the day 1 and day 2 of the preliminaries of the EMEA Invitationals, we can pretty much understand a little bit as to how the team plays, but unfortunately, not all of the teams have shown their hands just yet. So perhaps when it comes down today, there could be a couple of dark horses that comes right in and completely turn the tides and, kind of put Na'Vi as well as Silence onto the ground and really just level them. But for now, talking about preliminaries, let's take a look exactly what that format tails into.
Hi, survivors. The moment you've been waiting for is finally here. It is time for Free Fire EMEA Invitational. The Free Fire EMEA Invitational will be a unique event where the best teams in the EMEA regions can fight against each other to prove they are the best. A total of 12 teams from the CIS, Europe and Middle East, and North Africa regions will compete in 2 stages of competition in the EMEA Invitational. The preliminaries from 20th to 21st November and the finals on 27th November 2021. The EMEA Invitational will begin with the preliminaries, where the top 4 teams will be qualified from the CIS, Europe and Middle East, and North Africa Pro League. A total of 6 rounds will be played for both the preliminaries and the finals on our Battle Royale maps in the order of Bermuda, Kalahari, and Purgatory, then repeat again on the map rotation. At the end of each round, teams will receive points based on their placement, and each kill will be awarded 1 point. Booyah, on the other hand, will earn you 12 points. The points earned at the preliminaries are calculated on a daily basis. At the end of the preliminaries, there will be an additional head start points awarded to the top 4 teams of each day in the preliminaries. And that means a team can get a maximum of 8 head start points. These head start points earned at the preliminaries will be carried forward to the finals, where their rankings of the day will be decided with the head start points and the points at the finals. Only one team will be crowned as the champion in the Free Fire EMEA Invitational. So, are you with us?
Well, hopefully that helps clear up how the format is working. If you have any other questions, make sure to ask in the European Discord or, anywhere else. But for now, let's have a look at the team lineup. We've got the EMEA area. These teams are looking fairly scary. Nagasaki more so than the others. What about the CNS region, though, Abstract? Are they scary?
Well, are they scary may actually just be an understatement. They are ferocious. We're looking at Na'Vi, Beeline, Trident Clan, as well as Silence, and they are the one that pretty much topped off in the preliminary stages. And I gotta have to say, well, Beeline maybe only got 1 point from all of that start points, but in the end, the rest of the CIS team, they are pretty ferocious, as I said before.
For sure. And I mean, if you have a look at Europe as well, we have got Civisport, Bustamundo, Beta and Grow Up Esports. I do know that well. My prediction was Bustamundo. That was chucked up on Instagram. And if you haven't already followed the European Free Fire Instagram, definitely go and do that. There's a lot of memes and funny stuff that goes on there. And talk about memes, let's have a look at this prize pool, because it is just hilarious. Like laughing, like it's just huge. Looking at this massive prize pool for these teams to be able to potentially collect. 12th place gets $5,000, top 4 50,000. That's insane.
It is insane indeed. I mean, when you come and think about it, you can go back home with a lot of money just by playing games. Of course, the rundown comes down like this, or rather the breakdown comes like this. 12th to 10th place will be going back home with 5,000 USD. 9th to 7th place goes back home with 10,000 USD. 6th place to the 4th place, 6th and 5th place, 15,000, followed by 20, 25, 30, and finally the biggest prize, 50,000 USD to the one and only champions of the Free Fire EMEA Invitational. Who is that gonna be? Well, we're gonna have to watch to find out.
It's going to be super interesting to see which one of these teams can be able to walk away with that. But let's have a look at the breakdown of what we're actually going to be seeing on your screen today, what map format. So as usual, this is very much the standard and as it should be. We've got Bermuda, Kalahari, Purgatory, and then rinse and repeat. Bermuda, Kalahari, and Purgatory. And I know, Abstract, you mentioned last week that it's really nice to start off with Bermuda. It's always like the consistent one that we start off with. It's just that sort of like you dive into the pool and it's kind of nice and refreshing. And then as you go through the other maps, you come out the other side towards Purgatory, where there's just a lot more bloodshed.
Indeed. I mean, when we're looking at Bermuda, it is going to be that classic map, and it is going to be the map that really helps the team, get warm, get cuddly, and maybe get refreshed as well, and just kind of put themselves and understand who exactly they're dealing with. And only after finding themselves in Bermuda, they will be dropped into the land of drought, which is going to be Kalahari, whereby everything is going to be hard and humid and unbearable when it comes down to verticality and just the weather conditions by nature. But I do love Kalahari for a very good reason, but we can talk a little bit more about that in a bit. But I think that head start points recap is going to be very important, because I talked about the fact that Beeline got 1 head start points, but as you can see, we do have quite a lot of teams, or rather 4 other teams that have gotten themselves in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, I mean, if the Silence with 7 head start points is pretty insane. If you consider the maximum was 8 head start points, so they managed to come 1st and 2nd place overall over last weekend, with obviously dominating Skyline on the second day, so on Sunday. Navi with 5 and Trident on 5 and Nagasaki on 2. And it is questionable as to how much of an effect these points will have overall, because I do think that some of these teams are fairly confident that these won't have an overall big effect. But when it comes down to it, up to that 1st place, and if we do have a day like last Sunday where a lot of the teams are a lot closer, like even that 1 point on Beeline, that could be the turning point. That could actually lead them to win. Let's have a look at the overall standings, which is basically just going to show these guys at the top currently, as you can see, and then everyone else down below them, with Bustamundo rightfully so on the 6th place there. And I know that you predicted Trident to be able to win this, so let's see which one of these two are going to be able to do it.
Well, basing all on statistics, right, I would say that Silence, Na'Vi, Trident, they all have got a very good chance of winning. Based on the fact that Silence does have 7 hit start point, it doesn't really quite mean that they would definitely win, I would say. There could still be a lot of chances for all of the other teams out there that will be able to get themselves with a nice little booyah every now and then, especially when it comes down to our power rankings, which we should be talking about right about now. And that is going to be Vastamundo that comes in maybe around 2nd to 3rd place in our power rankings, putting Trident at the top. At least that's for me, right? Na'Vi is kind of 2nd and 3rd as well, so I would put Na'Vi as well as Vastamundo kind of head-to-head to a certain extent.
Yeah. And obviously today, it's not just about these teams, it is about you guys as well. And we have some huge milestones. You might be thinking 10,000 viewers, that's insane. Well, guess what? There's already almost 10,000 of you there in chat. And well, actually, I think, no, there's over, I think, 10,000 maybe at this point in time. So we will be showing vouchers, and the way you're going to be able to redeem those is slightly different. There'll be a code that comes up on screen. You type that into the website shown on screen or in chat on YouTube, and once you get that, you'll get given a token that you have to use by the end of today, within 24 hours, to be able to redeem the diamond and weapon royale voucher for 10,000. At 20,000, you get to choose one of 4 potential skins, and then at 30,000, you get to choose one of 4 skins as well, or items, including the universal fragments, which I know a lot of people are going to be interested in to make sure they can actually get some of the characters that they actually want.
Ooh, I would wish that I can get that 30,000 view milestone, but unfortunately I am not residing in the European side. So for those of you guys that wants to get a little bit of that goodie, make sure you guys get all of your friends in, try to open up every single tab on every single browser. You gotta have to get that out, and of course onto your phones as well, so that we'll be able to hit that milestone with no problems, because right now I think that we're looking at about close to 6,000 in the EU stream itself. So I wouldn't be too surprised if we will be able to, you know, kind of climb up the ropes bit by bit as the day slowly unfolds.
Yeah, and so obviously, like you said, make sure you get everyone in, and maybe we could hit that 30,000 milestone, which would be an awesome one to do. So we're going to be jumping into the game very shortly. It is going to be super fun. Bermuda is going to be up and running, and I want to see a lot of like action. I imagine it's going to be sort of close to the center, but let's have a look at the plane line as we jump in here. Abstract, what do you make of it?
Well, to break things down, the flight path starts at the northern side, and of course that's closing it out at the southwestern side, cutting through Plantation, Bimasati Strip, Clock Tower, and of course teams will have the access to go over to the high loot zone, and that is going to be cut to Listiwa. While I would say that Sentosa would have lesser people. Kotatua maybe 1 or 2, or maybe even lesser, because most of these teams will very likely make their way around the flight path and makes things a lot easier. But one thing that we gotta have to look out for is Nagasaki as well as Silence, as both of them have decided to drop inside of Shipyard, and that have got to be one of the worst ways to start. Putting yourself right under Silence's radar, Nagasaki is going to be probably slaughtered out, as you can pretty much hear from the sounds. We have one person being knocked down already, and Silence have got 1 kill to their name. So what does this suggest? One of Nakazaki's players have already been eliminated.
Yeah, and this is going to be a straight off the bat just aggressive play from Silence, pushing over towards Nagasaki. They are one of the contenders with the head start point, so being able to wipe them out now, that's good news for them. And seeing Dandy in this skin is just awesome. I love the fact that he's got such an awesome skin. Subaru at distance is trying to spray down these guys. It's going to be Dez jumping in, looking to get the 2nd kill over a wall, but we might be seeing Dandy go down. No, King, he's going to fall as well. Ivar is the last player left alive on the whole of Nagasaki side. They might go out within the first 2 minutes of this actual first map. This is an insane turn of events. This poor guy is trying to heal up, but there's going to be a nade going out. This should be 3, 2, 1. Oh, I thought that was going to be it, but it's going to be the spray down, and that is Nagasaki out in 12th position. Well, 0 points to their name aside from the head start ones, and that is a fantastic start to Silence Games.
We are gonna start seeing teams playing a lot more conservatively, and understandably they wouldn't want to put themselves in harm's way too early into the game. Definitely a completely different vibe that we should be expecting as compared to day 1 and day 2 of the preliminary stages. So how has it been going on so far? With Silence getting a kill down on Nagasaki, it does seem as though Nagasaki haven't really quite changed from the preliminary stages. When it comes down to all the other teams, such as Shift as well as Na'Vi, they, well, changed, I would say. not V or Shift, they're not chasing one another anymore. They're not hard dropping with one another anymore. They've decided to play things a little bit more safe. And I believe that no matter what it is, they will only want to come and meet against one another once the circles decide to close smaller.
And as that circle gets just tighter and tighter into a location, it's just going to cause a lot of these teams to clash up against each other, potentially waste a lot of their utility. And that's really what this game is about. When you come down to some of the core mechanics, it is just about that use of the utility. And so to keep in mind, on Grow Up Esports, we don't have Martins anymore. It is going to be Lizzie, who is going to be taking his place in this game. And you know what? I really do hope the best for Grow Up Esports here. I really do want them to be able to perform well. But you know what? At the end of the day, even if they come towards the bottom, minimum of $5,000, and that could just do a lot of work for them. Same with any of these teams.
Well, we're gonna have to see what exactly Grow Up Esports have got in store for us. I mean, understandably, Grow Up Esports, they are a very scary team after all. We have seen how they've played when it comes down to many of the Free Fire games that they have showed up before. We have seen how they move around. We have seen the prowess of Fire XL, Green Gox even at this stage in time. And I just want to see what they have got. And the first team that they may come up against could very likely be Shift. But in the meantime, as you can see on the kill feed, Vastomundo Laka have already found himself the first kill onto the side of Madness. And that could potentially be the downward spiral for Silver Spore.
Silver Spore might get brutalized here, which is not exactly what you want to see. And I mean, just to bring it back to these guys quickly, I mean, Shift are one of the teams we actually put on our power rankings, but they haven't performed at all, and it's really surprising. And I did hear that they were on purposely going after Na'Vi all the time because they wanted revenge. Like, they were not happy with them. So there was a lot of smack talk happening in the actual server. So I'm interested to see what they do, if they're actually going to be playing properly and not just going for the hot drops, which, you know what, I love hot drops and it was great to see. But I want to see them actually show some of their potential because we have seen some great things from them previously. If you have a look at the circle, this is an interesting one. Abstract, you know I love these kind of circles.
It is, especially since we have a bed of water right smack in the center. And if we are able to see that the final circle lands inside the water, boy, oh boy, is it gonna be a highlight reel coming in. But, well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. First things first, we gotta have to focus onto the circle itself. None of these players are necessarily out just yet. All of the teams have a full body count except for Silver Spore Esports that have one person taken down, which is going to be Madness. All around the place, we're starting to see players starting to take pot shots against one another, but nothing too comical, and that is understandable. But looking into Pochinock, because we have the point of view of Papax, they have been watching onto MCS Africa, but unfortunately right behind of them, it does seem like Beeline is around the area as well. So Vasorar, they should probably, if they know that Beeline is around there, they would definitely not want to kick up a fuss because that is going to put them in a very vulnerable spot of getting third-partied.
It's always the difficulty of, okay, well, do we actually want to engage on this fight or do we just want to chill? And to be honest, because of where Vasorar are, you kind of want to make sure you don't have to use too many bits of like utility, but at the same time, well, how do you make sure people know that you're here and you don't want them to push into you? And at the moment, if any of the other teams push into the buildings around them, they have to play aggressive. They can't sit around those outside buildings right next to them. They would have to push into the building with Vasorar. So it's kind of offense is the best defense in some certain circumstances. So making sure some teams aren't able to get close enough to be a problem is definitely going to be the way. But Reverb taken down by Nicholas. This might be Beeline starting to make their aggressive play.
It could very well be. One thing's for sure is that they know whenever they knock someone down, it's not a guaranteed kill because you get knocked down, you go below the windows and you can't kill anyone from that point onwards. So you gotta have to translate that knockdown into something more objective. Do you want to push up? Once you get someone knocked down, you understandably one person will not be able to shoot because it's knocked down. The other player will gotta have to put themselves onto reviving that knockdown player. So technically, two players is going to be left looking at you. Do you want to take that opportunity to just run straight onto the house that that Vaisrar is in, or do you just want to wait and see if whether any other team is going to come in? Because understandably, people can react accordingly to your shots and then react accordingly to the kill feed. If you see that you can hear the sounds going off and then you see one knockdown, very likely you'll be able to pinpoint where exactly the players are at, and you would want to go for the third party. That is how a third party plays. But it doesn't seem like MCES, they are too interested in going for that kind of gameplay, at least for now.
Yeah, it's been, oh, actually, never mind. Jumping into this, we're going to be seeing Nicholas take down Gringo, and it is going to be Grub Esports jumping into the fray. Their Portuguese brethren are going to be up in the building next to them, and I think this might just be the end of Grub Esports, to be honest. I just don't see them surviving this, at least not many of them. Bustamundo, they've heard the shots. They're going to be coming over as well. This is going to be the clash of the Titans between multiple of these teams. MCES as well, just like, oh, we'll have some free kills, but Nunes is like, oh, hey, Nicholas, here's a shot to the back of the head. And this is definitely just going to be a huge brawl, and I think it's going to be back and forth. I mean, Six is going to be able to get a knockdown as well. Bustamundo has to be careful not to bite too much off, because they might not be able to chew it, and they're going to continually try to just take these shots, but it's going to be super difficult for them to really commit to that fight from such a distance. And you don't want to try and push back on over towards Bustamundo in this situation. They've just got themselves 2 kills on Grub Esports. That's fantastic. You know what? Chill. That now takes them up to a minimum of 3 points, not including the placement points from this game. So just relax.
Understandably, looking at game number 1, the game is a very campy kind of play style here. So whichever team that have decided to hunker down in a certain spot, technically they do have an advantage because they have an understanding as to where the opponents are once they use their third-party perspective to look out the window, and if they want to kill someone, they can just go for a wide peek and just go for the kill. And this meta, at least with how the game is, that means that whenever you are running, we are back to the same spot whereby whenever you're running, you are going to be vulnerable. Teams that are going to be reactive will have a good advantage to that. And the reactive team here for now is going to be Vastamundo. But take a look at this. N9 finds himself in a really bad spot. We do have 2% that's already been going to be knocked down with Krill as well as Astrox. The last 2 members available. Krill trying to go for the grenade right down on Dandy, but unfortunately, I don't think that he'll be able to get that up. But this hill is very steep. I don't think that he'll be able to get himself too far ahead, but Astrox all by himself did manage to bring 2% down all by himself. Blocked himself in with the glue wall. At least before his entire team goes down, he will be able to get 2 kills onto the side of Silence. And I gotta say, this has got to be really good for their team. Even if they were to, very good for everyone else in the lobby. Even if N9 goes down, they brought 2% down from Silence, and this is going to be really tough for them to handle with. That is something that we haven't seen in a long while. Going into a prone to kill someone at the other side of the glue wall if it's elevated. Dandy putting brains into his game, really understood what he gotta do at that moment in time.
That was a really interesting play by Dandy, and I really just love to see those kind of sort of, you know, unique styles of play and just make sure that you can actually get those kills. These guys do have to be careful because they are in the danger zone. We have seen some teams destroyed by this. I will mention sort of on what you were saying, Silence losing 2 players to that. Yeah, everyone's going to be super happy with that. Like, why would you not? One of the best teams in the lobby, in regards to performance-wise from last weekend, is now down half their team in the first game, but they have also currently got what I think it must be like 8 kills or something on them. So even if they do end up going down, like they're still like, this won't be a horrendous game for them. It would have to be the worst game that they have. But even then, if you take that in combination with those 7 points, this is where that really comes into fruition. That plus, I think it's like 1 point they get if they went out in 10th position. They still have 16 points at the end of this for going out in 10th position. So if you sort of combine it up, those head start points really do come into their own in this point.
Na'Vi initially put themselves into Sentosa, and now that the circle is favoring more towards the players inside of Pochinok, Na'Vi were gonna have to find a place to be safe. They're going to be putting themselves in the southern bridge that's connecting between the main island as well as Sentosa. So at least they do have a little bit of some fun right where they are. But when it comes down to actually breaking into Pochinok in the very event that the circles is going to be centered right in the middle. It is going to be tough for Na'Vi, and it's going to be really good. Oh, God's sake. Oh, God's sake. All the people that took a gamble inside of Pochinok is so gonna be darn happy because they have already put themselves in such a great spot. Just hunker down and do whatever that they can to defend their current position. But that could also mean that players can just run it right down and do whatever that they can to just break their ways in. But Lucka is not gonna let Beeline away so easily. True, two of the members have been knocked down, but they're down but not out. So we gotta have to watch what Battamundo decides to do here. They are inside a circle, mind you, but I believe that they are out for some blood.
That was a really good shot as well. It's going to be the grenade launcher from Crusher, not Blazer this time around, although Blazer has got one for himself. It's going to be Beeline down to one person. It's going to be Nicholas, the one, the only. Is he going to be able to deliver this time, or is he going to have to wait until Christmas? He's going to be taking his shots, and he's only got 180 HP, and that's not going to be enough versus a whole squad of Bustamundo. Boom, he is gone. Mag 7 takes him out. Beeline out in 10th. That means they're going to have a total of, I think, 3 or 4 points at the end of this game, if I'm right in saying. Crusher and his crew looking fairly healthy right now. 5 kills on them, and they're in a fantastic building and position right now. And down south, sure, you know what? There's Grow Up Esports, but I think that's one member that remains. MCS to the right of them, 3 members. Ooh. And they're going to be helping hold out like Na'Vi and co. So I think this is just looking fantastic for this team.
Oh, just like that, Skyrix does have an angle onto some of the members from the side of Shift. They're not necessarily in a really good position, but that AWM is loud. He did manage to get a knockdown on the Pablo, but after that, they shouldn't be able to connect any more shots. They do have Shift over at the clockwise direction, but when it comes down to counterclockwise direction, there is Silver Spore. Alas, only 3% remains, but I wouldn't count them out just yet. But we have seen the performances before. When it comes down to them fighting against Na'Vi, they may not necessarily have the upper hand when it comes down to those kind of fights, and of course the firefight, the firepower itself. But Umid is going to be pretty busy all by himself. The Lone Ranger coming from the side of Fire XL will be able to get a single knockdown on Umid, and of course even a kill confirmed. Lucka gets himself a kill confirmed as well. That is going to be a total of 6 kills to his name. Fire XL still doing it amazingly well all by himself. He managed to bring down 2 of the members from the side of Silver Spore, and they got completely cucked out by Fire XL alone, while they were too busy to be too intimidated by Na'Vi on the other side.
Yeah, that was a really good showing from Fire XL there, and he has to do his best. He has to make up a lot of ground for the fact that his teammates ended up dying. He's not in the next circle as well, so he really just needed to get every single point he could do. We're going to be seeing Silence going to be coming under contention. As I mentioned, they already have 8 points. Fire XL, he's going to die here. There's no way he's going to be able to make it out, and it's kind of toxic that it's going to be Bustamundo of all teams taking them out for reasons unsaid. But Shift are going to be coming under fire from Na'Vi, who are still alive at the moment. Vesera going to be facing the guns from Trident, looking to take them down. But it is going to be Skyrix with the first kill and flush over towards Shift, who are just in a super difficult position. But Na'Vi just going to be under fire from so many different teams. Shift going out in 8th position. Na'Vi now, they have to move. They have to jump outside this building. One of their members is down. They're going to be right close next to multiple members. I think this is Bustamundo who are going to be shooting up over towards them. I just don't know if they're going to be able to survive this encounter. They're stuck in a really difficult position. Grenades are going to be coming out, but he's going to have to break that glue wall to escape, or at least his teammate is. And Cheetah's going to be keeping his eye on over towards them, sees them, jumps out, and it's going to be the grenades coming in here. But Nunes is going to get knocked down here, so they have to be careful from all these different directions as they look to push across. Dandy going to get taken down by the mine that will set down in the bottom of this building. That's hilarious, but he's going to be able to get revived on this situation. Silence, somehow Silence are in the building, in the center.
It is not gonna be good when it comes down to Silence being in center. They already have a massive amount of kills to their name, but right now, Reverb is trying to lob a couple of grenades over to the opponent's direction, but unfortunately, it doesn't seem like he will be able to do quite just that. MCS Africa coming in from behind. Every single one of these members is going to come out, and it does seem like chaos is about to ensue. A lot of these teams is still alive. 6 teams. No, make that 5 teams, Tom. This is starting to be absolutely amazing to watch.
Oh, yeah, and we're going to be seeing this taken away. Bustamundo are going to be jumping in here as well. They're like, this is our time to shine. They're going to have to try and heal up and just play full aggressive as well. But Silence, still 2 members alive, getting more kills. They've got 10 kills so far. It's insane of Bustamundo go out to a single grenade. Does Barrow just absolutely shutting them down? That is just absolutely disgusting. Facerag go out as well. No more EU teams left. It is going to be all down to these guys. Oh, and the side's going to be coming out from Trident. Your prediction might be fairly good, but Dez, he's going to be able to knock him down in case instead, and he's going to be able to get a revive up. It is going to be 3 teams left standing, but Silence, they're currently going to be holding the upper ground.
Oh no, Dandy.
They're going to be dropping down, actually. That is a massive mistake, but Dandy might just be able to make this work for himself. He's going to be blocking himself in. He goes down to the actual blue zone, but it's going to be Katarov turning around, looking to take these guys out. Navi going to be going out, and now it is going to be Trident who take the first game, but Silence somehow making it in to second place.
Even though Silence have only got 2 players within the mids, they still managed to hold it out for so long, and I gotta have to give them mad respect for what they have managed to bring out. But in the end, we gotta have to reserve that respect, because Trident Clan is the one that managed to make their way all the way up with a single booyah to their name. Do note that when it comes down to the game, they have been widely inactive. They haven't been doing anything for the first 15 minutes or so. And only when it comes down to the wire and when it comes down to the end, they finally popped up, because they know that that is their time to shine, and there is no reason for them to be overly aggressive in the early games when it doesn't reap much rewards.
Yeah, I think it really does come down to that. It's looking at it like, okay, cool. Yeah, we could overextend ourselves, and we did discuss this as well when we were looking at Beeline versus Bustamundo. It's like, okay, well, how fast do you want to get, or actually, and Facer, like, how fast do you want to actually get into these confrontations? And a lot of these teams just started playing very aggressive, and most of the teams that played aggressive ended up dying fairly early. Whilst we're going to be seeing Trident get 3Ks with grenades and just be laughing. You just saw it in the kill feed there. They just absolutely demolished these teams. And I mean, just a special shout out to Silence. Just being able to, 1, recover from this scenario, but also just 2, getting all the way into second place, and they had a minimum of 10 kills, which I think all the way up to that last point was actually the highest amount of kills in the whole game, which is just crazy to think and consider that they were able to do this. But let's have a look at the post-match stats here. It is going to be Dandy himself at 5 kills in first place. And then obviously his teammate Dez in 4th with 3 kills, and then we have Navi Skyrix and Desmaro both sitting on 4 kills in joint sort of second place there. That is a fairly impressive show of skill from Silence.
This is just game number 1 though. We still have 5 more games to go, but right off the bat, we are looking at Silence wanting to keep all of the advantage that they have and just keep propelling themselves forward with a massive snowball. Is it really going to be that case for Silence? Is that really the dream for Silence? But right now for me, I still see Silence as a newer team, and it's kind of hard for me to accept that they are this good. But in the end of the day, I think that we're gonna have to say it out there. Even though Silence, the OG Silence members have already made their way over to Navi, made their way over to Trident, the new Silence is still a scary team all through and through.
They really are. I don't know if it's the name or something that just inspires these players to be so good, but or you know what, Silence are just good at looking at teams that should be getting picked up, and these games were called, I think, Pro 4 era or something like that. So I think that was really good. But let's have a look at the match standings here. Trident up in joint first place with Silence, both sitting on 19 points. And keep in mind, Trident started this night out with 5 head start points. Meanwhile, Silence, they started out with 7 head start points. So this is still like really impressive from Silence being able to get into second place, but Trident taking that crown, sitting at first place. I think when it comes down to a tiebreaker, it would actually be Silence who would be up there. But Bustamundo, really good as well. 14 points. Na'Vi, 13. Besa Ra, one of the first times we're seeing them up here as well, sitting there with 8 points, and MCS as well. So this is actually just a really good showing from, I think, a lot of the teams that needed to show up, right?
Yep. That gave us the boost that we technically need and gave us a little bit more understanding as to how these teams eventually play. How do you want to play it? Do you want to go hyper aggressive, get yourself kills all over the place like what Silence did in the early stages? Or do you want to play a little bit more passive aggressive, whereby you completely ignore the early stages and try to work your way with more kills at the late stages, which is exactly what Trident is essentially doing. And this pretty much helps people to understand what should you be looking at. What is your objective? Do you want to be more of a Trident clan, or do you want to be more of a Silence? Because in the end, if you want to play like Trident, you are just gunning for the booyah. And naturally, kills will flow over to you because you gotta kill someone in order to get a booyah, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. And I mean, okay, yeah, so just to correct myself on this run, this is including the head start points, so that makes a lot more sense. Silence going to be taking the top ground position here with 26 points overall, plus being the kill leaders. Definitely just really well deserved. And like you said, you have to decide, how do you want to play? Do you want to be Silence? Do you want to be Trident? Those are the two main differences here. I think that's really well said by you there. I think overall I'm just excited. Actually, we've still got another 5 games here, and I think we've seen a lot of interesting sort of changes as to how a lot of these teams play. I'm a little bit concerned about Grub Esports. They played a little bit over aggressive into a fairly open area where they didn't have the information probably scouted out that MCS were behind them. Because if MCS weren't there and shooting at them, I think there's a potential chance that they could have pushed into B-line. But otherwise, I think that was a bit of a mistake. So I want to see what they're able to do going into the second game, which will be Kalahari. But we are going to take a short break before then. We'll get to that in a moment. But what are the main things that you're looking out for going into Kalahari from the teams?
I think I do want to echo that thought that you talked about in day 1 and day 2, and that is going to be the usage of cars. Because in that previous game, it does have a very obvious effect that cars is going to put you in a really good spot if you do want to make your way into a circle. Because in Grub's defense, they would want to put themselves in a better place, and having a car can actually help you to scout out whether there's anyone in the area before taking the final attack.
For sure, you have to make sure you have to hold on to those. Na'Vi found themselves in a bit of a weak position because they lost their cars fairly early on, but hopefully they'll be able to find those cars in Kalahari and be able to drive them around, although we don't tend to see cars in that map actually. We'll see how they do when we come back after the break.
The Kelly Show! Do you have to do that here and now? Season's reward will be the Golden UMP!
You aren't even at heroic yet.
I'm gonna miss this place.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and what a phenomenal first game we just had there on Bermuda. As usual, it's going to be Abstract and myself, Tom Pickering, bringing you the games today of the EMEA Invitational, fighting for $200,000 prize pool overall, with $50,000 for the first place position. We just had a super interesting first game. Abstract, I don't really know if you can top that. Silence just played really well. I just don't know if any of these other teams are going to be able to quite beat that performance.
Well, let's break it down a little bit, right? When it comes down to Silence, they are the one that kind of ride and die kind of thing, whereby they would want to go in the early stages of the game, do whatever they can, and just be as aggressive as possible. This aggressiveness can be very rewarding for them. High risk, high reward. For game number one, it does seem to be very fruitful. But is it going to be the same for the next other few games though? Because like I said, high risk, high reward. You would not be able to pull off the same damn thing every single time if you're going to be very technically consistent with what with your gameplay. And I would love to see whether Silence is going to do the same thing here in Kalahari.
Well, let's jump into Kalahari there. Perfect line down the middle for these teams. Highly going to be in Refinery. Things you'd love to see, right?
With the flight path that is weirdly very straight, all the way from the southern to the northern part of the map, right smack in the center as well. So this is going to allow a lot of these teams to actually spread themselves out. So I would say that I will expect these teams to not come in too close to one another. But Nagasaki, I don't know which I don't know which god they pray to, but they are putting themselves in a really bad spot. So, well, I guess it's just their luck.
Yeah, well, very unfortunate on this front, going up against Trident. But you know what? This is interesting because we talked about Trident playing fairly passively. This time, they don't have a choice. And Nagasaki are like, cool, we're going to take you head on in this scenario. So right off the bat, are going to be down a player. This is a really interesting play. And I mean, Nagasaki, who knows how they sort of plan for this, like landing over towards Refinery is such a dangerous area to drop into. I think they have dropped into it before, but to be honest, their kind of like drop pattern is all over the place. I think it's hard to be able to actually read as someone looking at it from the outside perspective. But Trident, they're now at a massive disadvantage. They have to go find somewhere else to loot.
Yeah, I didn't really quite expect that that is going to be the name of the game for Nagasaki. In fact, it does seem like this is going to be a great round for Nagasaki indeed. So it's not unlucky. This is lucky for them to drop right onto Refinery in a high loot area and getting one kill onto one of Trident's members. This is going to put them in an amazing spot. And I'm hearing the sound of the, well, sports car racing through the distance. And it does seem like for N9, he's trying to get himself somewhere. I really hope that he don't just crash onto a random team and just completely get eliminated, but he's going more towards to the side of Mammoth, and he's gonna be safe and sound at least for now. Right smack then early in the game, sub 3 minutes, one member gone. And all of these teams are very widespread. We're not looking at what we saw before in the previous game, whereby Silence immediately takes away one team all by themselves. It does seem like this game, we should be able to look at least 10 teams still alive by maybe about 13 minutes in.
Yeah, I mean, what's definitely quite interesting about this is that this player, Victor, actually went off and got a car to bring it back over to make sure that they actually have a car to work with. And I think that's just really cool to be able to see, and I hope that they do actually then keep that vehicle and move forward with it. Because like I've kind of said a few times, like I'm a big fan of people using these vehicles because it just gives you a massive rotational sort of advantage, and like you sort of mentioned at the end of last game, like ability to be able to scout ahead. Because if you're actually protected by the car, at least that's going to soak up some of the damage unless someone's able to hit some sweet headshots. So, and even then, it's just a little bit harder and a little bit faster to be able to move around. So. Well, Shift, another team. We've not really had to say too much about them because they're a little bit lackluster last week as well as today. But hopefully they're going to be able to turn up. Trident down to 3 members. This is really starting to show a little bit of an interesting game. And if you have a look at the bottom right there, Abstract, Silence and Beeline, they're probably going to collide at some point here.
To a certain extent, right? Because to get themselves in a displacement into the circle, the next best place that they can go, at least for Beeline, is that they gotta have to head themselves over to command post. But considering the fact that the flight path starts off from the south to the north, cutting right within the grid of F, there could be a possibility that Beeline is going to completely evade that altogether, because there could be a very high chance there is a team inside of command post, and the command post is a pretty good spot to hunker down in. So it is going to be a smart idea to completely evade that spot. But as you can see from the map, there's actually no one inside of command post, and technically you could say that it is a wasted opportunity.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a wasted opportunity. I'm just trying to think if there's any way they could have really done that better, but hey, whatever. On their side, we're going to be seeing a Trident again, actually under fire from Vaysara. I think if Vaysara realized who that was, they probably actually would just dive into them. We've seen Vaysara play fairly aggressive towards Trident in the past, and they are actually a team that need to go down. A lot of these teams, if they realize where Silence or Trident are, there's going to be like a hit out on their heads, because these are currently the 2 top contenders for first place right now. So, speaking of which, Vastamundo, I thought I saw someone in the background. It's going to be Vastamundo coming up from behind them. There's a mine that's set down. This is going to be brutal, and I think Vaysara are going to be fairly happy.
Completely sandwiched out. We do have Zamaro knocked down to a quarter HP and now knocked down. They now have the grand entrance inside of their house, and they're trying to break their way onto the Zayas. Blazer immediately popping off the shot, but unfortunately doesn't seem like things are going to be that easy for Blazer himself, as he got knocked down by a shotgun that that Zamaro does have onto his side, or rather the Zayas. As now Merz going to be the last member remaining from the side of Trident, as now Vastamundo have whipped up quite a bit of a disaster onto the side of Trident Clan, and now Trident Clan being eliminated while Vaysara is all the way at the top of this rock formation at the northern side of Refinery. This is going to give Vaysara a really good spot, a really good high ground against Vastamundo. But Vastamundo also knows the very fact that this is a very open angle for onto the side of Vaysara. So Vaysara can't possibly stay at this spot for an extended period of time. So all Vastamundo gotta have to do is kind of play themselves in a little bit of a safer place and just not run too far towards Vaysara. If they want, they can run away from Vaserar, because the distance is going to make things a lot tougher for Vaserar to get kill confirms.
I really loved that kind of scenario. It definitely made me laugh. And also the fact that we actually saw Vaserar get one of the kills onto Trident there. So they didn't walk away from that only with the, okay, one of the top teams going down, but also they managed to get a kill. And also know where one of the top teams is. I didn't even notice this. Nakozaki, a beeline, going to be looking to contend it off. And unfortunately for this player, he's not going to be able to hit those headshots, but it's going to be Nicholas getting dropped down there. Unfortunately for him, it's going to be beeline down a player. It is not looking so good for the CIS team so far. They seem to have a hit out on their heads right now. Grozny has to be super careful. He has got the LMG, but I don't know if he's going to really be able to have the DPS to really take on King in the scenario. Both of them with the scythes chasing after each other here, and beeline are making headway on this one. Unfortunately, Ivor potentially playing a little bit too aggressive ahead. It's going to take a little bit of damage. King going to be up close and personal. He's going to be pulling out of the side. He might just be able to get this knocked down. He is! No, it's going to be Ivor taking it. And that is going to be Grozny looking to get flushed out there. There's just no way he's going to survive. And that is going to be actually a new kill leader on Ivor. I didn't expect that with 2 kills.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you have yet to find yourself in a spot to whip up your scythe and just slice and dice away while you're in close quarters combat, you are missing out the meta. Because we have obviously seen that the scythe does a really good job in killing people, and we gotta have to see that time and time again. And that was a perfect representation that a scythe does have a better reliability when it comes down to close quarters combat as compared to a shotgun. But right now, what you can see here is Nakozaki in the middle of the danger zone. So they realize that there is nowhere else that they can go, except for a couple of members, such as Izar. He is going to be finding himself right underneath a structure, so at least he will be safe and sound from that. And every single one of Nakozaki have decided to spread themselves outwards, so that if one person gets knocked out, they are not dead yet. They can go over, help their fellow friend out, pick him up, instead of all 4 of them being blasted in smithereens together as a team.
Yeah. I think there's this point as well. Nakozaki should just disengage from beeline because they're not in the circle. They don't actually have a position. You know what a team does? It's going to be Nunes and the crew on Grow Up Esports, but I don't think it's going to be a very secure one on that. We are going to be seeing MCS going for the rotation on these vehicles, and they're going to be stopping down below Vaserar, and they're going to be in the fire line for a lot of different teams, including Bustamundo, as soon as they decide to actually come further south once again, because they retreated up north. Just super smart. Oh, 6. That's got to be really painful to get knocked down like that. But it is going to be a fight actually between Civisport and N9. They're both going to be bumping heads. It's going to be the first knockdown from Kamali, who was subbed in instead of one of the other players here. And Civisport and Koyo are going to get absolutely thrashed here if they're not careful, as we're going to be seeing Chef taking down one of the top snipers, I would say, in this whole competition when it actually starts shooting. Unfortunately, he's not going to get a chance this game, as we're just going to be seeing Civisport just potentially destroyed here.
Well, unfortunately for Civisport, things are not looking very good for them. They only managed to get 1 kill onto the board, and that is going to be Victor. And now being destroyed, not looking good. But it does seem like on the other side, we do have Vastamundo putting themselves a little bit of a revenge for the very fact that Vaserar tried to gatekeep them while they're trying to go for the kill on the Trident clan. With now Cheater 9, the last member available, Vaserar have gotten only 2 kills to the name, and Vastamundo is still very headstrong. I think that every single one of their members is still alive. No, I think that only 3 members is still alive. So slightly handicapped here, but not exactly too out of the game just yet. So what is going to be happening now for Vaserar is that they gonna have to start to play a lot more passively and try to play for the circle instead.
I'm just not quite sure why they felt the complete need on just playing so aggressive towards Bustamundo. I mean, I hate to say it, but know your place. Basically, oh, we've actually got Navi. They're jumping on top of Vaserar, Bustamundo rather. I'm saying the wrong names here, but it is going to be. I think Navi are going to absolutely destroy Bustamundo in this scenario. They also have a fantastic leap on top of them, and now they're going to be dropping down, looking to find out some more kills if they can. Bustamundo have lost 1 player here. He's going to bleed out before he can get revived. But we're going to be seeing Didi get taken down by Shift, who are finally going to be tuning in. And he's going to get flushed. Cheater! Vaserar! Cheater, what are you doing? He's going to be able to get a kill. He's like, I'll take that, thank you. And Skyrix And Swift are going to be the last 2 players left. Oh, we're going to see one other taken up, but Crush is going to be here. He's still going to try and stay alive. He is just going to be doing his best. He's got some blue walls here to try and pull out on this one, but the grenades are going to be coming in. I just don't think it's going to work, but he's throwing down at multiple. That should be able to flush out the last member there, and he's going to go down. He has managed to get another kill there before he was killed and flushed out. So at least that's something, I guess.
Oh boy, now this is chaos. This is hectic. Navi's Vashni puts down the landmine, and that essentially baited the entirety of Shift to run right into the house, only for them to get exploded. But it doesn't seem to quite make that big of a difference because Shift came in. They managed to kill out every single one of the members within the compounds, except for one Vastamundo. Wait, how did he get out?
No. So to correct you there, Na'Vi, they didn't let them Shift get all the kills. They actually managed to grenade themselves, and Swiftgar killed himself.
That kill.
You know what? It's just like that extra meta player was like, you know what? No kills for you. I'm going to take this one for the team. But yeah, I mean, Na'Vi going out in 9th position. That was a crazy just scenario. And somehow Bustamundo still alive. Blazer hanging on to dear God. And Cheetah still alive at the moment. Crop Esports, they were at the previous center. No longer is that the case. And they're going to be getting shot down by the members of Silence and many other teams. Meanwhile, N9 still alive after the encounter with Silverspore, down to a couple of members. Nakazaki looking fairly healthy. 5 kills, 4 members alive, but very little utility.
It does seem like they may not have a lot of consumables to work around with. They have found themselves in fights time and time again, and they don't have anywhere else to actually go for these loots. So the only way that they can get these loots is actually take up a fight, which unfortunately may not be the best case here, especially since the first one that they have met up with is technically gonna be Silence. No way you're gonna be bringing Silence down like that, and to add salt into wound, the zone is closing out on them, and that 5 kills that they have to their name, unfortunately, has been, well, it's not gone per se, but it's just gonna be locked down at this very instant. Silence has been a little bit loud. Cheater eliminated by the circle. And yes, they were loud, but does that mean that they will be taken out? Doesn't seem like it. In fact, Dandy is the one that did manage to take a kill down on a single member from the side of Grow Up Esports, and Dandy is still pretty dandy, if you ask me. While Silence, Des, knocked right down. Subo does have an angle on the members of Grow Up, but unfortunately they decided to wrap around on the other side of the building, leaving Dandy as well as Subo completely open, and they can actually try to make their way in and try to destroy the rest of the members coming in from the side of Grow Up. Donu pushes right in, does have a time turner, tries to make himself out of there, but unfortunately there is going to be a backstab coming in. Grow Up finds himself destroyed by the hands of Danny once again. This man is just absolutely amazing. Saved his team. 2 members left from the side of Silence, but at a heavy casualty.
Insane turn of events here. And why are you on that vehicle? What are you doing? Okay, I love vehicles, but there's a time and place, and that was not the time and place. It's going to be MCS versus Shift here. They're really going to be down a player. Pablo is going to be looking to drop down on them and look in to try and get these kills. A flashbang is going to go out, but it's going to be Dandy with a double kill with a grenade saying, hello, this is my name, and this is why I'm around. And unfortunately, Shift just put themselves in a really bad position, but it's going to be Dandy taking down Shadio from the sidelines. Easy flush for them as well. Bustamundo still alive somehow in this situation. They really need, he really needs this team at Shift to actually do a fairly good job here. But hopefully we're going to be seeing a Blazer come out, and he has made his way over towards the center. He's going to be coming up behind the 2 members of Silence right now. He has only got the Mag 7 in hand. He has also got a sniper. He might start to take shots, and it's going to be Dono potentially getting dropped down, but it's going to be Dandy still alive as well. Bustamundo, Blazer is going to be left in, I think, in a 1 versus 1 situation with Dandy in a moment. No, Diablo still alive. Laying on, it's a 1 versus 1 versus 1. It's a Mexican standoff, but it's going to be Blazer with a headshot. This might be Bustamundo's turn. They've already got 6 kills, making that 7 out of first place. 12 points, taking them to 19 points for this single game. Oh, fantastic performance by Bustamundo. They disappointed us last Saturday. They came back strong on Sunday, and they've come back even stronger today.
Well, Vastamundo, they, even though my brains is with Trident, because statistically Trident is gonna be pretty strong, but my heart My heart, guys, is with Vastamundo. You can hear the excitement just oozing out every single orifice of my body. So Vastamundo, I believe that they have managed to get themselves a massive amount of kills to the name, going in for 3 kills on the Trident clan. They brought 2% down from Vasorar, if I remember correctly. And then when it comes down to the final game, he killed the final circle rather. Crusher killed 3. So I think that they have at least 9 kills to their name, putting himself probably up on the scoreboard. But that doesn't necessarily mean that Silence is dropped out just yet, because I believe that they have got a decent amount of kills to the name as well, and they finished off at 3rd place.
I think they performed absolutely fantastic. Silence, this is, I talked about teams having sort of hits on the heads, and then Trident got slammed by Vastamundo and Vasorar. Silence had that hit mark on the head, but they just stayed silent. They actually took on Trident's like, okay, we'll actually play a little bit quieter this game. And they didn't actually come into any combat right up until they took on, I think it was actually Grow Up Esports. So that was really well played by them. And then they did take on Shift. And unfortunately, because they were down to 2 players after that instance with Grow Up Esports, that really put them in a bad position. But being able to get 2nd place, plus all those kills, this is like, Silence really do scare me. Like at the end of the Grow Up side, they got 6 kills total. At the end of Shift, they must have ended up with, say, like 7 or 8 kills plus 2nd place, which is 9 points. The like overall standings, like I think like they're definitely going to still be in 1st place after this, but we'll have to wait and see how that goes. And I think the scenario from Blazer was absolutely fantastic. He managed to sneak a bunch of kills in here. I think it was 7 kills in the end for them. Oh yeah, sorry, Shift got 2nd place. I was completely wrong on that front. Really well played. And let's have a look at this. So Dandy, of course, he's going to be in 1st place in post-match stats.
Dandy. He has been getting himself massive amount of kills under the board time and time again, and I gotta have to say that he is a very impressive man. While for the other side of the stats, we do have Blazer with 4 kills, Lizzie 2 kills, and then Crusher with 2 kills. Do note that Vastamundo may not necessarily, most of their members may not necessarily be able to stay alive for long, but Blazer definitely gave them the glory of victory, a taste of victory coming into game number 2, and I would love to see how the scoreboard looks like. But this is a hurrah for the European teams, and in fact all of the European players and viewers at this point in time.
Yeah, I think this is one of the most amount of actual European players we've seen in post-match stats overall. But let's have a look at the overall standings for the for the 2nd match here, and it's going to be Vastamundo scoring 19 points, which is also what the top 2 teams were in the last game. So this is nice, consistent. Silence, talking about consistency, they're 18 points, which is 1 point behind, and again, exactly 10 kills, which is what I think they had last game as well, which is like this is almost perfect consistency. Like, or it is perfect consistency.
It is actually. Like 19.
Oh, okay, almost. If they'd come in 2nd place, they would have then obviously got 19 points and stuff. But
yes,
they didn't quite get that because they only got 8 points on that front. So this is really well played, I think, by all these teams. I think Trident got in a really unfortunate position where they landed with Nakazaki, and Nakazaki just like, yeah, we've got nothing to lose, bros. We're going to take you on. We went out first off versus Silence, and they were like, we're going to come back stronger.
Well, I'm head over heels for Vastamundo. My head is on Trident Clan, which unfortunately got knocked out first, and my heart is with Vastamundo, which is the one that is first. So, unfortunately for Trident Clan, not as well consistent, and thus, because of that consistency downfall, they are going to be putting themselves onto 3rd place. Vastamundo climbed up to 2nd place, while Silence is still on a lead with a total of 44 points. And do note, because of their head start point, they climbed to 44, and if not for the head start point, they'll probably find themselves at with 37 points. It's still pretty good if you ask me, but that 7 points will very likely be able to make it or break it for Vastamundo's climb if they don't continue to be consistent.
Yeah, this is super scary. I mean, Silence really utilizing their skill, and I mean, after last Sunday, I'm not too surprised by this. They were scarily dominant in how they were playing, especially just Dandy. Him in that dinosaur uniform, outfit, is just absolutely fantastic. And then you have a look at, obviously, Vastamundo, Trident, Na'Vi, and you know what? Shift. well played. Being able to come up here and being able to get a huge amount of points compared to what we would actually expect from them compared to last weekend. This is really good. And also just, obviously like Shift, MCS, all the way down to 8th position. They're all in this sort of similar bracket of points. Like 8th and 7th is 15. But you know what? You guys managed to achieve something massive. So here's the 10,000 code reward. So if you want it, make sure to go type that code in at the reward.ff.garena and .com. I think that I can't even see it right now, /EN. So make sure you go and collect that up there and get your own token, and then go and select your reward that you want. But yeah, I'm pretty proud of that. I think we've managed to hit fairly good milestones so far. I think that game was super interesting. I asked if the first game could be topped.
It topped.
It was topped. I think that was a tremendous game, and especially the moment that Bustamundo appeared out of nowhere and just took Trident down. That was chef's kiss. Just fantastic.
I think that there was a lot of blazes of glory. Get it? Blazes of glory. Hey. For the side of Bustamundo, right? When it comes down to the fight against Trident, that was one. When it comes down to the final circle, that was the other one. Because I gotta have to say, when it comes down to Blazer trying to get themselves that one-shot headshot onto that last Silence player, that is very important. But when it comes down to getting a kill onto the final player, well, from the side of Shift, I believe, well, they did a really good job on that front too.
Yeah, it really comes down to those final points, and all these teams are going to be playing for like that 1 point makes all the difference. And we're going to be seeing them fight out over on Purgatory, which is by far my favorite map. I want to see teams drop into some of the higher areas like Brasilia. But for now, let's go into a break, and we'll see you guys in 5 minutes.
Or the legendary outfit.
That would be the best thing that's ever happened! My balloon! You could be a hero, Leon. You're fast and strong and a total robotics genius.
You're cute, sis. But these guys are megastars. I'm just me.
Hey!
What a shot! Only 3 left in the game.
Oh no! Ayano's alone!
But look, he's got an opening.
Team Hayato wins!
For one more player, I'm afraid my friend doesn't play fair. Bring me that suit.
We've got to help!
Leave it to the pros, Amelie. Amelie! You okay? Are you hurt?
Leon!
My suit. Eliminate him.
Hey, new guy. Need a hand? Yo, think fast. You see that?
That wasn't me!
Amelie! Amelie, where are you?
Leon!
Amelie!
Give me the suit. Now!
Stop! Stop! I'll give it. Just let her go.
No, Leon! Don't!
Hey!
You're in trouble now, bony face.
No!
I think some others saw him too.
Well, Megastar, what you gotta say?
Booyah!
Hola, Free Fire! Welcome to the Kelly Show! Do you have to do that here and now? Season's reward will be the Golden UMP!
You aren't even at heroic yet.
I'm gonna miss this place.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. It's been an exciting day so far. We've only had 2 matches, but they've both been absolute bangers. And we've got, obviously, the wonderful, the fantastic, the illustrious Abstract off to my side here. And also myself, Tom Pickering, bringing you the games today. And we're going to be jumping right into the next action. It's going to be on Purgatory. Abstract, are you pumped for this one? I mean, Purgatory, I know it's not your favorite one, but still a good map.
Yeah, I'll say it is still a good map itself, but it is not exactly the map that that's getting me pumped up, but it's more of the fact that the Booyah so far has been widely, I use the word widely very loosely here, but distributed towards different teams for now. We've tried it on game number 1 and then Vastimundo on game number 2. So far, when we are looking at the casters' prediction all across the board, we have got 3 casters that voted for Na'Vi, 2 casters for Vastimundo, and 1 caster onto Trident Clan. So, at least for now, we have got 2 of those predictions that is technically right on the dot, but Na'Vi have yet to show itself.
Let's have a look at this playing line. It's going to be going straight across Brasilia and also giving access to a campsite, which is going to be the high loot zone. Obviously, Na'Vi are going to be dropping down over towards their usual spot, which we weren't sure it was them hot dropping or not. But no, it does seem that we are going to be seeing a shift go elsewhere, and they don't have to get knocked down straight away. They're going to be landing right next to N9, though. Both of these teams faced a lot of early takedowns last week, so I'm interested to see how they face up against each other. Campsite is going to be dominated by Vastamundo, and this is so crucial for their build on how they work. Crusher needs to get those double snipers on his back so he can really be kind of efficient, or at least that used to be part of how they used to play. Interested to see how they changed it up. Vaisra going up towards the north, over towards Crossroads. Grow Up Esports, they've got a couple of vehicles around them.
I'm not a very big fan of what Grow Up Esports is essentially doing, right? Because they are widely spread out. When it comes to a certain landmark, I think it's fine for you to spread out. But when it comes down to spreading out in fields, it's actually not that big of a... that's not that as good as a deal as it sounds, because fields is huge. It is wide. And it is almost literally right smack in the center of the main island, not the map, but the center of the main island. So a lot of players is going to find their way walking around the place. You don't necessarily know where the teams really is. And Nagasaki Esports, it does seem like they do not want to be part of the mess here inside of fields, and have decided to play a little bit more conservatively and allow Grow Up Esports to take the entirety of fields for themselves.
Yeah, it's definitely like an interesting way of playing, and we've seen it happen a couple of times, and I kind of call it like sort of scrap looting, especially when you're sort of spread out so much. It's definitely a big sort of dangerous play. Interestingly, I mean, Trident, they're going to be right next to Nagasaki, and Nagasaki, I think, know where they are. There's 3 other members running on over. Maybe they didn't. It's going to be one of the players from Trident actually spotting them out first, having to drop down a glue wall, potentially a little bit too soon, and he's going to have to try and run away towards his teammate. But there's only Mers next to him. They're in like a 2-2 split or something here, so they're at a massive disadvantage, and their other team members on the other side of Nagasaki, so there's going to take a lot of work to be able to try and take down Nagasaki in time before this team can do a lot of damage on Trident.
In the end, we do have Trident Clan. They are going to be hiding themselves within the green building, and only Mers and Zayas is inside of the at the top and the bottom. So they're not necessarily in a really good spot because there are still some other Trident Clan player that is still not around the area. One that just made their way through the zip lines, 9 stun, finding his way out of this current bad situation. At least there's a couple of glue walls. One of the shots did land on the 9 stun, but at least he'll be safe and sound for now. One other Trident Clan is all the way down to the southern side, not anywhere close. I believe that he would want to wrap around, but it is going to be a first blood onto the side of Nagasaki. They got out of one fight, but they have gotten themselves in a worse fight against Trident Clan. And thus, this is going to be an avenging fight for Trident Clan.
Yeah, I mean, Trident were able just really to pull in and do a nice pincer move on them, and that's going to be a complete wipe. 0 fatalities for the side of Trident. So what happened there is it really was a pincer move because of the fact that it was actually a massive failure on Nagasaki's side because they didn't play aggressive enough in that building. They found themselves between 2-2 split, and when it's against a team like Trident, who are by far like one of the best teams in this lobby, when they actually put the heads down and think about how they play, you can't afford to do that, especially when you're dropping first off. These guys had very little loot. 9 stun when he got shot, he was down to 54 HP and he had 0 meds. So you have to take this into consideration. Shift, meanwhile, they're going up against Grub Esports. Grub Esports, I think, have already got a kill on them, or maybe even N9. And this is going to be over towards Brasilia. I'm interested to see how this turns around, but hopefully we can see where the circle ends up going, and it's going to be a bit of a spicy one, I think. I hope for a water one.
I hope for a water one as well, right? Because looking at Purgatory is, or I would say Purgatory. I'm really hungry right now. I'm not gonna lie, but most of it all is comprised of water, and most of the water beds is actually at the southwestern side. That is in between of the southern island, western island, as well as the main island. I would love to actually see a circle on that, but highly likely is going to be the case this time. Vastamundo is one of the teams that we should be looking out for because they have decided to make their way from campsite, go down to the southern island. But now they've decided to get themselves out of that situation. There's still one member, and that is Crusher, but I have actually no idea where he is. Oh, okay, he's going to be in this vehicle, while all the other members are in the same vehicle, it does seem like it. No, two men's in, 2 men's out. Nunes? Where's Nunes? I actually have no idea what is going on. Okay, all of them is in 2 vehicles, but somehow the icon only shows that 3 members is in the vehicle.
I think it was slightly bugged. That's fine. But we are going to be having MCS come up over towards them, and they're going to be spotted and heard. Shots going to be made, but like I said, these vehicles are hard to hit, but not hard enough. Nuna's going to be able to take down Dowley. They're going to flush him as well. Easy free kill for them, but MCS going to be dropping down, looking to target these guys. Nunes has to be careful not to lose his head. Crusher's going to be lobbing in a grenade. That could work out perfectly on that car. It does. They're going to be on so low HP. They're going to get knocked off. They're not careful. A single shot to do it. The bike is going to explode very soon, so they have to jump off no matter what, and they have done. They're over towards these campsite buildings, but it's going to be Ali getting dropped down, and it is just them getting absolutely slaughtered. Meanwhile, Treat is going to get knocked down by a scythe in the sidelines, but it's just going to be Bustamundo just demolishing MCS. The same can be said for Baser by the hands of N9.
Great, loving team dynamics when it comes down to Vastamundo, but we gotta have to wrap up on that fight and kind of break it down in a while, because right now at 9, it does seem like they are holding Baser right by their neck and ensuring that they would not be able to get away. 2 members have been kill confirmed. Papax is going to be the final member remaining, and is just hiding behind that couch, unable to do anything. And the entirety of Baser, unfortunately, will be eliminated at 11th place. not much points is going to be awarded to them. But N9 must be really happy about that 4 kill that they have gotten for themselves. But now that we have wrapped this chapter up, let's talk a little bit more about Vestermundo, shall we, here, Tom? I would say that their team dynamics is really the one that helped them get that kill against MCS Africa.
Yeah, I think just together, just being able to play together rather in that kind of scenario, get the grenades off in time. Nuna's being super careful, not overexposing himself whilst in that tower. Just keep in mind of just not losing your head and just being able to combine your efforts to be able to knock down these opponents, and then not being over transfixed on having to get the knockdown on the knocks and just go in for the actual knocks in the first place on the other players that are still standing. So I think that's just really well played by them, and it just goes to show like they are a fantastic team. We haven't really seen too much from them in regards to amazing performance when it was last weekend, aside from on Sunday, and then even then they were a little bit hit or miss through quite a few of the games. So today they've been a lot more consistent, but still this is only the 3rd game, and I say it's only 3rd game. There is only 6 games, so we're halfway through this. I need to see a little bit more from them before I'm happy to say that they're at their top performance right now, because on a world stage, none of this lineup from Vestermundo have performed.
But in this case, it does seem like they are doing a pretty decent job. Every single one of Vestermundo's players is still alive. They are close to the center of the circle, and they are avoiding the entirety of Brasilia like a plague. They are playing kind of like a Trident clan kind of thing when it comes down to game number 1, and they are trying to play in their own ways. In this meantime, while we are talking about Trident clan, they're also avoiding Brasilia like a plague all the way in the north side. They're doing a Trident, guys! How dare they? No originality.
So pathetic. Like, come on. But I would say, so MCS are the team with the most subs so far. I think they've subbed out a player every single game so far today. And that's 3 games. So it definitely is a bit of an interesting when it comes to how they play. And talking about interesting plays, Science are going to be coming out of the storm across the bridge. And they're going to be coming up over towards Brasilia. They don't really have anywhere else they can really go. So I'm interested to see where they end up landing. But it's definitely going to be with them in town. I'm a little bit scared for a lot of these other teams.
But it's
Here we go.
A little bit early for
what are they doing?
Oh, what? Silence? They're going to go for the parking right here. I'm not too sure about this. But Subo, he tried to ram his car right onto the entrance. I'm not too sure whether that is going to be blocking any of the entranceway for the side of Beeline, or perhaps even like literally on the side of Beeline. They're going to be rushing right in. Subo, not going to be finding any kills for now, but Dandy did manage to bring one person down to the side of Beeline. Grosny, HP down low. Sharksy taken down by the hands of Dandy with a single grenade. Goes for the kill confirmed. And 2 other members from the side of Beeline is left remaining. They know that they don't really have a lot to play with, but 6 with the grenade pops one person down inside of the house, and that is going to be Dandy. Still trying to work his way in right into the enemy space. He managed to buy a lot of time to ensure that Daz will be able to go in and help Donu and Subo out. Crashing his way, slicing away through all of the glue walls. Subo finally picked up, but Donu is still knocked down. Couple of grenades in, not going to be cooked enough to get a kill down to Grosny, but it's not going to be admitting defeat just yet. One more hit is going to do the work, but Silent Subo knocked down once again. A lot of knocks coming in all over the place, left, right, and center. Des knocked down by the hands of 6, and that is going to be 1 casualty on the side of Silence. And this is the hyper-aggressive playstyle where they only get 3 kills to their name, but put themselves in such a tight spot to be sandwiched in between by either Shift, N9, or Trident Clan, with only 3% to boot.
Yeah, I mean, Trident Clan just coming from above. They're like, hello, this is going to be a bit of an interesting one for us to join in. Silence, yeah, they're one of the teams we want to take down, so we'll help you guys. But we'll also kill you at the same time because we, you know what, we need some kills. So Trident already got 4 kills. Not too bad, but they're looking to make that up even a bigger number. They've now up to 5, should be even higher. And Kadyrov with that LMG can just, that gun eats through, I think, glue walls in in 2 shots or 3 shots. It is so high damage, and it is ridiculous. Like, if you're not using that gun, if you have the opportunity to, then I think you're making a massive mistake. But we're going to see another sort of bleed out from one of the knocks they got, and that's going to be 6 kills on them. And we've barely started. We're at 12 minutes. There's still 9 teams, 28 players. And Silence, that's why you use vehicles. Like, I thought they were screwed there, but no, they had it all planned out. They had the grenades. I think they kind of messed up blocking up that back door. I think that really messed them over a little bit. And I think it could have been a little bit smoother for them. But overall, that's why you use vehicles. If imagine they were trying to do that on foot, Abstract. Imagine trying to get into a compound like that on foot.
That is true. It is not going to be easy for you to even do anything like that. And Silence made a perfect display as to how you should be using the cars. In fact, you don't even need Misha with the something burner, afterburner. Yeah, you don't need the afterburner to make full use of cars instead. Just go in vanilla. Use the car for its very own existence, for being able to drive fast, being able to knock someone down if you crash onto them. That is great by its own means. And in the meantime, we're looking at a kill feed. Svidogor, two members.
Observers, what are you doing? We want to see the real fight. We missed it, but it is going to be Na'Vi just slaughtering Grub Esports. That was, I think, a sniper and a grenade launcher that took them down. 2 kills with the sniper, 2 kills with the grenade launcher. Really well played by Na'Vi. I've been wondering where they've been. They've not really performed today, but I think this is where they start to kick off, and I'm a little bit scared for everyone else. They have got a couple of vehicles, including a Piploid vehicle there. They've got, I think, 2 grenade launchers on their side, which is key for this. Shift are getting currently taken down by Vustamundo from above. And Vustamundo in a bit of a precarious situation. They're going to have to play through a lot of the open areas. Hopefully they've still got their vehicles. But we'll have to wait and see for that front. We do have Crusher watching out towards the outside. This is important because they do know that MCS were around it. Oh, they're going to get driven on upon by Na'Vi. This is where they need that full team, but there's only 3 members here from the side of Vustamundo. One of them is going to get knocked down. They've got no glue balls down. Skyrix going to be pushing up as well. He's going to be playing full aggressive. He's built for this. He knows exactly where to go. He's going to be landing the damage down. He's already got knocked down. The other monster truck's going to be coming in. This is Na'Vi just displaying their absolute skill and prowess in this game. And Vustamundo currently having 0 knocks down, and Skyrix taking very little damage from them. He's going to be able to make his all the way into the circle and be able to get 2 flushes here, or potentially even 1. Lucko is going to go down and flush out for the count, and Vustamundo went from heroes to zeros at this point because they were just pushing hard enough.
Boy, oh boy, you can pretty much see just exactly what Na'Vi have gone on their infiltrating tactics. They are hard on the heels of Vustamundo. It doesn't mean that if you are the gatekeeper, you win. You need a lot of that mechanics in order to just bump yourself time and time again onto the gatekeepers. And you can see how Skyrix did it. He just ran and went in for the glue wall, ran, glue wall, and in between pops up the Uzi. Pops off the heads of one of the players and just be absolutely ridiculous with that momentum. This shows that gatekeepers are not the gods and not V. This Russia tactics and this way of playing, this hyper-aggressive gameplay is just not something that we see a lot in the European side.
Yeah, and like again, just the use of the cars there, that allowed them push in. We saw obviously Skyrix and his teammate push up first of all, and then the monster truck just goes like, yeah, here, let me handle this, and just push them even further. So they're taking ground after ground, and with Skyrix's aggressive play of being able to place those glue walls and just push at such a fantastic rate, it was just absolutely brutal to watch. But anyway, moving onwards, we've got Trident, who are going to be looking to take on Sivaspor, who are going to be down a man already. And this Storm is going to be doing a huge amount of damage, but it's going to be actually Na'Vi coming in from the side, knocking down one of the members. Na'Vi are like, hey, you're on the top of a few teams. We've just taken down the second team on the top. We want to make our way up here. I did say this is the game they're going to start to shine. So far, they've proven me right. 8 kills on them so far. Look to push that up even further. Sivaspor will go down to the Storm.
Yep. And they're a little bit afraid to just bump right in because they know that Trident, as well as Na'Vi, is just inside of the circle. Trident, though, unfortunately, they are part of the momentum that Na'Vi is trying to bring forward. They did manage to get a decent amount of members down from the side of Na'Vi, and now Scar is just going to be working his way through on the counter. But unfortunately, it is going to be a time turner that's going to be popped right up. Pops off the head of Skyrix. Moving on, Svidogor knocked down 2. Left with Vashni as well as Diddy, but Vashni immediately taken down by the hands of Burst. And now, how about the last members coming from the side of Trident? Will they be able to do the final thing? A lob of a grenade brings down the rest of the members here inside of Na'Vi with 8 kills to their name. They're not being able to do much. And yes, indeed, here's Silence.
sorry for that, but I mean, Silence were just creeping up by the wayside, and Donna and Kura are just gonna be so. MCS! He's just sitting there in the center. How will he manage to get this? He's going to be able to make his way all the way up into second place, I think. It's going to be Silence versus Trident Esports, and Trident going to go out to the Storm. They're like, yeah, we're not going to give you any more points. We're going to die to this. And now Silence is like, hang on, wait. There's one person left. Like, where is this guy? Where is he? There he is. They found the mountain goat.
Oh my god.
There we go. They've got his dog, and now they're going to be looking to finish him off. Abdul, very well played for being able to get second place. So that's 9 points instead of it would have been 0 points when they died if they died originally. So GG, well played, Silence. Just the whole CIS region there were fighting. That was 3 of the CIS region teams fighting all at once.
Very well played for the side of Silence. They have been very consistent throughout the games, and I gotta have to say, Silence, they are just whipping the casters into shape. No one predicted that Silence will win, but the way that it is going out to be, the way that it looks like, Silence, game 1, game 2, they did not get the booyah, but they have gotten 10 kills each, putting themselves on second place and then in third place respectively. And finally here, we're looking at them with the booyah, with a massive amount of kills into their heads as well. Alas, it's not 10 kills, but I think that still puts them in a really good spot. And just like that, they should be putting themselves in the overall standings with a great head space on top of Vastamundo. I'm not too sure if Vastamundo is even going to be on second place anymore, because Trident Clan did a really good job in this round too.
Yeah, I think they're going to get displaced there. There's no way that they can stay up in that second place, because they weren't up there by a massive amount. They had 33 points. Trident Clan were I think 9 points behind them. So I'm interested to see how many points Vastamundo got, because they at least managed to do a lot of damage to different teams. I will say I'm a bit disappointed in how Vastamundo actually handled that aggression, because it's something that they should be much better at. And being able to try to hold off on one of the other teams like Na'Vi pushing up. But I suppose when it is Na'Vi, who are just absolute monsters in their own right, it is a difficult ask to have. And I think, yeah, this game was super interesting. It was very different, in my opinion, compared to the first two as well. There's a lot more sort of open area plays, and I think one of the things I would say is Vastamundo failed to sort of utilize their glue walls. Let's have a look at the match standings from game 3. Here we go. The post-match standings. What do you make of that?
Well, Spider-Gore, he did manage to bring quite a decent amount of members down with his grenade launcher, and he thus is going to make his way into rank 1 when it comes down to kill count. Dandy, 100% appearance in the post-match stats, with a total of 3 kills to his name, Zamara with 3, Subo with 3 as well. Silence members, they are just absolutely insane, and I can't wait to see what kind of points that they have racked up for this game. But I think that we can take this small amount of time to talk about Vastamundo, since you were touching on that just now, right? It does seem like they don't really have any idea how to fight against Na'Vi in that kind of overly aggressive push. Whenever the opponent is being super aggressive, they responded by being super defensive. They don't have the regular team dynamics of just having one person lob the grenade while he's all the way at the back kind of thing. I think that they have their positioning completely compromised by Na'Vi, and they were caught completely off guard too.
Talk about consistency. I mean, just look at Silence. They're on 19 points. They went 19, 18, 19 right now. So that is a scary amount of points. Plus, they had 7 head start points at the start of the day. Trident going to be coming in with 18 points. 16 points on Na'Vi, 9 on MCS, and only 8 on Vastamundo. That's not going to be enough to keep them ahead of Trident, or maybe even other teams here. We'll have to wait and see. Nagasaki, a little bit lackluster. They went really well at the start of in the second game rather, and also going into the that match there. They had a decent position, but they kind of just ran out in the open and got slaughtered. It was just similar to N9 as well, who I think have 4 kills there or more, and then Shift. Not 5 kills, sorry. A Shift as well. I think they could have done a little bit better. MCS, though, I'm pretty happy with that. They managed to get 9 points and 0 kills. That was really well played by that last member.
Well, all in all, 19, 18, 16 is going to be the points for Silence, Trident Clan, and Na'Vi, respectively. Vastamundo at 8 points, Shift at 7, and Vasorar at 0. But moving on to the overall standings, Silence have got a massive lead on top of the second place and even the third place. Look at that, 21 points, and that is absolutely scary to look at. If Trident Clan manage to get themselves a single booyah in the most consistent manner, they can get themselves 19 points, but they're still a shy away from Silence. And considering the fact that Silence don't even get a single point from for the next game, it's kind of a tough ask. But Trident Clan putting themselves in second place, 1 point above of Mundo, and this pretty much shows how big of a difference the head start points could have been.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you take away the 5 points from Trident Clan, they would actually be down in third position instead of Mundo. So it's definitely definitely makes a difference for most teams, aside from Feline, who are in 12th position with 7 points. If you take this like consideration that they got 14 kills in the first game on last Saturday, this is very, very different compared to that. So I'm interested to see what they're able to achieve going forward, but I think it is going to be a little bit scary for a lot of these teams if they don't start picking up the action now. Like, well, actually, yeah, every single one of these teams have to do insanely well. The Silence, they're picking up the pace. Not keep picking up the pace, sorry. They're very consistent in their pace, which has been at a high level. And even Na'Vi, who started to turn up in that last one, I'm a little bit worried for the rest of the teams, like I said.
I mean, we are looking at Battle Royale. It is gonna be a marathon, not a race. And we clearly see that from the side of Silence with their amazing gameplay through Game 1 to Game 3. The first half have been very consistent, but are we gonna see the same thing when it comes down to Game 4 to Game 6? We're gonna have to watch out for it right after this very short break. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere, hydrate yourself, and we will see you soon.
Hola, Free Fire! Welcome to the Kelly Show! Do you have to do that here and now? Season's reward will be the Golden UMP!
You aren't even at heroic yet.
I'm gonna miss this place.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, from your short break. Hopefully you've managed to go and get all your snacks, your popcorn, your drinks, so you're ready to go into the next match, because I know I am. Got my drink down beside of me, some nice H2O, because you got to make sure you stay hydrated, especially when you're speaking over such spicy gameplay like this. As usual, it's going to be the wonderful, the illustrious, the fantastic, the beautiful, the amazing, Abstract off to my side, and then also myself, Tom Pickering, playing old me, as we bring you today's games. Oh. Abstract.
I need to address that part when you say plain old me. I do not accept that. Please redo that again.
Fantastic old me. There you go. That's what you get out of me. But I mean, talking about fantastic, these plays from like Silence are just insane. So consistent. And they're just such young players and coming out of the woodwork on this front, as well as Na'Vi using the car meta, dive into this action. I mean, what do you make of that situation between them and Vastamundo?
Well, honestly, when it comes down to Vastamundo fighting against Na'Vi, they just don't know how to handle the kind of aggression, right? And they are not too used to that at all. So I would love to see what Vastamundo will do in this game and what kind of answer will they have if this ever were to happen again. But for now, we're jumping in to Bermuda with a flight path that starts off at the northwestern side and closing off at the southern side, cutting right to the center of the map, maybe slightly towards the southwestern-ish part of the map, and thus a lot of these players will be able to find their way all across the map except for the northwestern side, which consists of Riverside, Mill, Keratin, and perhaps even Cape Town.
Rimnam, come on, Seversport, make your way over that. We are going to be hearing our shots straight off the bat. It's going to be Grub Esports versus Nagasaki. And Nagasaki, they've got a fairly good... Oh, come on, why are they doing this? Nagasaki are going to be able to slaughter Grub Esports in this scenario. It seems like, once again, I mean, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what Grub Esports are thinking, but you know what? They've got some challenges that are happening outside the game right now, so I'll give them a break. Hopefully they're able to pick it up. They have got 3 members who should be able to survive this, but First Blood is going to go over towards Nagasaki. This whole playing path was fairly interesting. Rimnam going over to Siverspore. Hopefully that's the boost they need, but honestly, I don't think Siverspore are able to keep up with the sort of new metas, with the over-aggression with cars and other bits as well. I think they're completely lost. They're like, wait, this is not how we play on the Turkish servers. This is not allowed.
I actually kind of think that is technically the case, right? Because let's be honest here. When it comes down to cars, it's either you are in a very low elo, whereby you're just thinking that, you know what, I'm just going to use car and ram over every single one in the lobby and not going to be punished for that. And or you are just in the super high elo and you actually know what you're doing. So when it comes down to the middle, close to the high mids, you don't exactly use cars a lot because you rely more on moving and you don't want to give these kind of information over to other teams whereby, hey, listen to this loud booming car running across the horizon. Here we go. Look at me. Look at me. That is what essentially a car is doing. But if you know what you're doing with a car, it's not going to be that big of a deal.
And we actually just saw Vastamundo fly on over towards, I didn't actually see, I think it was the plane line there. They actually managed to get over towards, but Clock Tower, it's going to be a busy area, but Grub Esports still just all over the place. I just don't have very good hopes for them, but it's going to be Fire XL looking to try and get some revenge, but you know what? You're fighting up against a whole team by yourself. I commend you for your bravery, but also, you know, I will say it's a bit stupid to try and go for this. Yeah, like, he is a solid player, but, you know, like, 1 versus 4 versus Nagasaki, who've already proven themselves to be fairly versatile. It's a bit questionable, but they are going to let him get away. So, you know what? Why not? He did actually just use up some of their utility, and he's got some utility. He's got 4 meds and two glue walls. That's more than a lot of the other teams. So, and a lot more than Gringo, who's actually Gringox rather, because he's dead.
Well, at least there's still 3 members on the side of Grub Esports. They are not exactly too out of the game just yet, I would say. 15 seconds until the circle reveals itself and kind of just shrinks every single one of the players to its designated zone. So I'm not too sure how the players would want to play this right now. But As we look at the bird's eye view and waiting for the circle to come up, that... Oh, man, what a circle. What a circle. The main that's probably only like 70% of playable area in the circle.
And you know what? We've not had a Mars Electric Circle in a long time.
That's true.
Like where it actually lands down there, and it is a super interesting place to actually like if you break down how that whole area is set up, there is a lot of places teams can play, but a lot of teams don't really know the area fantastically because it's not a place you have to play too often. So teams that drop around the area are going to have a massive advantage in regards to their knowledge. But let's see how they're going to be able to do. Beeline, a team that have underperformed throughout the whole of today, bottom of the leaderboard. Not really achieved anything per se. I want to see them come back. They're the only CIS team that have not performed today.
That is true. I do want to see them perform because they do have a single head start point to their name. That pretty much means that they are technically on top of Vastamundo in terms of performance. But we can pretty much say, and I think that we can rule out the very fact that Vastamundo is not performing because they are probably just reserving themselves just by a little bit. And when it comes down to the real business here today, it just shows more of the fact that they know what is at stake and they will do whatever that they can to stay alive and play the game with their utmost importance. As you can see, even though we have one person left on the side of Vastamundo, they will still try their best to stay alive. But meanwhile, while I'm talking all of that, I love to see what Cheeto was doing. Trying to get himself on top.
I don't know if you remember that. Well, most people do that scene from the parkour. It's just like exactly the situation here, and so they're trying to find themselves up here on top of this building, and they might be in a little bit of difficulty. Grozny is trying to shoot up towards them, and he might just block a couple of members from being able to get up there. Beeline are just like, stop it! You're not allowed up there. Like, this is our spot. Go away. Oh, Vastamundo going to be coming over towards Silversport. Remember, Silversport had the high loot zone. If Vastamundo get these kills, this could be massive for pushing them forward. But first, they're going to have to try and make it through this fight.
Silversport, most of the members doesn't really have a lot of grenades. The only grenade I can see is Humid. He does have a single grenade to his name, but right now, Vastamundo decided to play onto the aggressive, has bumped himself right into this building and put Madness inside of his own bedroom crying for help. I'm not too sure whether he will be able to stay alive from all of that, but at least his comforter is going to keep him nice and comfy, while the rest of Vastamundo decides to find themselves onto the other members that is not inside of their rooms.
Yeah, I mean, this is the advantage that they have, but Lucca's going to get taken down, but so is Yuma on this front, so they're going to have to be careful on the trades. If Lucca is going to get knocked down there, he is going to get revived as well. Chef is still alive with the sniper, but he misses his shot. You don't get a second time to shoot at Vastamundo. The knockdown's happening. Chef's knocked down 2 versus 4, and it is going to be Mandus taking down Nunes. Nunes was too focused on getting the flush down on a kill, and lots of glue walls being used. This is not the gameplay that I wanted to be seeing from Vastamundo. This should have been a lot cleaner. But unfortunately for them, Silversport are a fairly good team, especially when it comes to sort of fighting up against the EU teams. Blazer missing their shots, which were very key there on being able to hit that. Silence! They're out! They're out in 12! This is what the lobby needs. N9! The gods that the server needed to be able to try and bring themselves back up here. You called this. You said, even if Silence go out with 0 points. They just went out with 0 points. And Vastamundo, being inspired by this, are pushing up. They're looking to take down Mandus and co. They've knocked him down. They're trying to find the last member of Silversport to clean the house. They've got 3 kills. They know there's one more.
Oh my god, this is such a roller coaster ride. The games that we're looking at today is so back and forth, and it takes me guts to say this, but the performance in this game is so much more entertaining from the Free Fire World Series because we are just looking at Phoenix Force that absolutely dominated the entire event. But in this event, the Free Fire EMEA Invitationals, they are just putting us on an edge time and time again. Silence has been so consistent time and time again in first round all the way to third round. I talked about the fact that are they going to be as consistent when it comes down to 4th through 6th? It does seem like they are coming in to the second half on a really bad spot. And N9, who would have known that they will come in and be the one that puts the guillotine to their necks?
Poor Cheetah, he's stuck down there. There's no way he's going to be able to get up there, as far as I know. He has put the glue walls down on the floor in case he does have to jump off or run or if he gets killed, he doesn't want to let his loot box get looted by any others than his teammates. And you know what? This is a fairly common place for Vaysar. They know how to get up here. They've boosted up 2 of their members over towards the ridge. Beeline, this might be one of the longest times Beeline have stayed alive. And this circle, Abstract, this circle is going to be shifting down, I think, towards Mars Electric. Come on, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Let's see this up. You know what? Fine. I'm happy with this.
I'll take it.
The first game we saw was this circle, or close to the circle, further towards the east, I think. But this is definitely interesting.
But look at Silver Spore. They're just playing safe. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming.
This is a fairly usual gameplay by them, though.
That's true.
That's true. I think last week we probably saw them in the water both times on Bermuda, and also one in Purgatory. Like, they're definitely an aquatic team, but we're going to be seeing N9 pull up over towards MCES. They're like, oh, there's a team here. Okay, well, maybe we'll fight these guys. Although it's a little bit slow off the bat. It's going to be Victor and Co. Maybe not realizing that there was a team directly here. Grenade's going to be coming out from the side of MCES. Not going to really land it too much. Never mind. Krill is going to go down. Second grenade timed up. It's going to potentially flush him down. It does. N9, the heroes of the server, now looking to move down to MCES.
With one person knocked down, it is a MENA team fighting against a MENA team. The rest of N9 have decided to bail out of the place with their fast-moving vehicles. And luckily, they got out of the situation without having too much members falling out for the count. And with only one person down, I would say that is technically a win to a certain extent. That was actually a massive win, considering the fact that they didn't even kill a single one of the members from the opponents just now. But now they're driving by and driving past Na'Vi, and now their vehicles is going up in flames, exploding, and Spidogore got himself a knockdown onto Astrox and deleting him in that process. Na'Vi finally drew first blood, and they have been playing very safe so far. I think that they are going to be quite a contender here.
They're just like, hey, we know that trick. Driving in cars. Yeah, we know how that works.
We know.
Here, have some of our bullets. So we are actually going to have Shift coming around the side. This is exactly the same sort of pattern we actually saw in the first game from these teams, aside like from Na'Vi, Shift, and MCES, around the same sort of area. And I think this could potentially be damage to Shift side. I think they're about to get absolutely demolished by Na'Vi and MCES because they're stuck in this building outside of the storm. So they're not going to be able to get in without making a lot of dangers. And I don't think they realize that there's a player across the way who's going to be shooting in. They definitely know now. And we're going to be seeing Dowley and Co just drive up over. They're like, ooh, some kills. We're going to be taking this fight. And it's going to be Ali looking to do the damage. He's going to do a decent chunk, but not enough to be able to get any kills.
No
MCES might be looking to fight off too much more than they can actually chew. What?
Well, the main thing is that I'm really sad that Mr. Ali doesn't even have a grenade on his side. If he did have a grenade, it will be so good to get the kills down onto Shift. But unfortunately, I would believe that both Shift as well as MCES, they're in a really bad spot because we have Na'Vi on the other side. And I'm not talking about the fact that because Na'Vi is great when it comes down to firepower, is because they can kill whichever guy wins, whichever team wins from this fight itself. They're trying to get themselves out of this situation. Understandably, MCES Africa will be the one that have a closer range over to the safe zone. But now, they did manage to bring Shadow down. They did manage to bring a couple of Shift members down, but they took some time to heal up. And this is going to allow Na'Vi to get even closer. And Kaboom, it did not kill anyone, but another one goes in. Kaboom did not knock anyone again. They're trying time and time again. And I see that Na'Vi have only gotten 2 kills from that encounter, but it may not be the end just yet, because they do still spot a couple of members from MCES Africa across the horizon. They're probably not going to be able to finish the kills down, but hey, I think that coming out from all of that is still not bad. But yes, the circle. I don't see it around Pochinock.
Yep, this means it's gone over to the factory. And this is going to be absolutely brutal for a lot of these teams. But you know what? Vaysar, they're going to be sitting very, very pretty. And here we go. Vehicles are going to be coming out for the side of Na'Vi. I don't know where all their members are. I only see 3 of them inside this vehicle. But we are going to be seeing Biden drive up on over. Nagasaki going to get taken on by Bustamundo, who are at the edge of the circle. There is going to be a difficult moment here because they're also going to have to go and take on Grow Up Esports, who are still alive. But we're going to be seeing Silversport still alive as well somehow in this situation. Grenade going out.
Why would you? Why would you do that, Wadis? Why would you do that? Nagasaki Esports, you are the last member remaining here. You should have been playing safe. You shouldn't be letting people know that you are around the area. And that grenade has alerted the Horde. We are going to be expecting that Vastamundo will be out looking for this one player. But Vastamundo, slightly off the radar, they've decided to make their way more towards the anti-clockwise direction and at least try to be safe. Probably, I would say that you probably don't have a lot of information as to where one is, or rather how many people are there from the side of Nagasaki. But in the end, finds himself eliminated to the circle after receiving a couple of pot shots from the side of Grow Up Esports.
Yeah, I mean, he jumped through the window, and as he jumped through, he got absolutely slammed by the storm. So that was well played by them. This circle is brutal. I don't know if these teams are going to be able to make it across the way. Vaysar in a fantastic position to just hold down multiple teams. And there we go. Papa is going to knock down Abdul from MCES Africa. And now we've got Dowley. He's seen as next target. Annoyingly, we're going to be seeing that on the screen for a moment. I'd much prefer if we didn't. But hey, it just keeps us guessing as to where he's actually aiming, I guess. Sitting on top of this crate. Hopefully, that does disappear soon. But either way, Vaysar are in a really healthy position, but so are Trident Esports. And there's the final shot that was needed. And MCS are going to go out in 9th position. So they went from second last game to going out in 9th this time round with a couple of kills to their name.
And now Vastamundo, they've set the sights down onto the other European team, and that is going to be Grow Up Esports with Nunes as well as Lizzie. Find themselves knocked down. Fire XL trying to go for a counter attack down onto Blazer. But while they are trying to do all of that, Vastamundo, Lucka came in and put one magnum shot in between of Fire XL's eyes and take out the entirety of Grow Up Esports in a matter of seconds. Not B though. Down to the southern side of the circle, they have a couple of eyes onto N9 Camille, and he is going to be on the watchtower. He's probably just going to be bleeding out outside of the zone, so I'm not going to be expecting much. It is going to be a suicidal move coming in from him, and no points given away to not be, unfortunately. They're playing right behind of this wall with Silver Spore onto the other side. A simple rundown should be able to get themselves a simple kill and get themselves a total of 4 points to their name.
We're actually going to be seeing one of the players, Civicore, go out of the circle with that vehicle to then bring it back in. And somehow we're going to be seeing all the members of Vaysar getting absolutely slapped there. Vastamundo are currently the kill leaders on the server. I didn't quite expect that. Trident are going to be looking to push in, but Vaysar right now, play chill. Don't play over aggressive. The shot's going to be coming out. Lucka, he's going to be able to knock down one. He's going to go in for the flush. It's not going to happen. He's trying to break down these blue walls. He can't get the hits on. He's looking for his teammates to help him, but they're going to get taken down if they're not careful themselves. So they can only do so much. But using up the utility and health off their side, DD is going to get taken down. The storm is coming in. It's pushing these guys across the way. Vastamundo, no, they only have a limited amount of time to be able to get the knocks on these players. Swiftcore is still alive. The grenade's going to be going out from both sides. This is going to be coming up towards the end of Vaysar. They jump down. They're looking to get their knocks down. They're going to be going both ways. Six going to be taken down. Skyrix as well. Papa going to go in for the flush. Make sure he gets the kill. He's going to have to make his way into the storm before he gets taken down. 47 HP. He goes in for the headshot. He gets him. He gets taken down though, but he's done his work. It's going to be Reverb. Take it down. Trident. Papa Rex is dead. Navi going to be one of the last members. Trident go out as well. Vaysar still alive, but Lucka and Co are going to be coming in, looking to take them down. It's going to be a European battle here. Beeline finally going to be at the top of the leaderboard instead of at the bottom here. And it is going to be Vastamundo, 10 kills currently with the world to win in this situation. It is going to be one member from Vaysar still left alive. Beeline, 4 members. Vastamundo, 4 members.
Unfortunately, that is going to be a front up being taken down. The only thing in between of this one CIS team and that one European team is going to be a giant wall. So what is going to be coming in between of them? It is going to be the zone as it slowly flushes everyone out, going for close quarters combat. 6 knocked down by the circle. It does seem like they will be able to deny at least 1 kills on the side of Vastamundo. They're still doing a really good job trying to flush themselves right inside of it all. Shoxy is still far ahead. Every single one of Vastamundo's players have found themselves in the center of the circle, and that is going to be yet another booyah to the names of Vastamundo. They are gonna be so ecstatic to know that they got themselves number 1, the Booyah. Number 2, a lot of kills to their name. Number 3, Silence got 0 points.
You know what? This is exactly what needed to happen. You called it, but you said about Trident, you know, to jump up there. I already know the scoreline on this, and it is going to be super interesting for it to unfold for you guys as we see the scoreline. But this fight right here between Sivaspor and Vastamundo, that was, I think, potentially a close issue if they weren't careful and lucky on that front. So being able to take them down like they did with no casualties, like if they had one less moment in that last fight, there was no way. I think Beeline were going to be able to take them on, but that was such a convincing ending, such a GG well played from Vastamundo, expertly taking on Beeline, using an exploded car, using glue walls to slow down Beeline from being able to get across.
I would say that when it comes down to breaking down this fight, Vaisora have put themselves in a really great spot for the second last circle. But when it comes down to the last circle, a lot of that for Vastamundo is attributed to luck and chance. I wouldn't say that they made a calculated move to make their way towards the northwestern side of the circle and they know there's no one there. I highly doubt that they know. It is more of a game of luck and chance, and they managed to find themselves in the best place possible, completely divided away from every single one of the teams, opposing teams, with that one wall. And the circle played out perfectly for Vastamundo. And just from that point in time, I was just thinking to myself, boy, Vastamundo has such a good position. They better not screw this up. And alas, they didn't. With Vastamundo at the top with Babuya, and not to forget, they are topping the leaderboards in terms of kills too, with Laka 4 kills, Blazer 4 kills. Shortly after that, Dowley with 3 and Reverb with 3.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? This is the first, I think, post-match stats that we've seen without a single CIS member on it.
I think most importantly,
without Dandy,
this is the one.
Yeah, without
Dandy.
Yeah, without Dandy, like, wow. Okay, yeah. I mean, this first one, he stayed in first place for the first 2 games, slipped off into the third one, I think it was, or maybe the second one. But yeah, I think it was the second one. Yeah, and he came back on the third one. But I think overall, just really well played by both Vaisora and Vastamundo. I will say Vaisora got fairly lucky with circles. Coming down and landed on Factory, which is perfect for them. But let's have a look at the match standings of match 4. Vastamundo get 25 points, 13 kills. I thought it was 10. What? I didn't think they managed to get 13. That is it. That actually, wow. Okay, Vaisora 14. That's a massive scoreline for them. Beeline probably like tripling their scoreline from the previous time, or maybe almost doubling it. Trident with only 9, Navi with only 9, and 9 with 8. I was going to say 9 there. And Sivaspor with only 5, Grow Up Esports with 5. But you know what? Silence, 0.
The spark of brilliance from Vastamundo, and Silence got 0 points from that. I don't remember how much point deficit between Silence and Vastamundo was post-match 3. I can't remember.
I can tell you.
Oh boy. I think I'm gonna keep the suspense for myself and all of the other viewers, right? Because this is the rundown for match number 4 standings. And once we move on to the overall standings right now, it is probably gonna surprise us. Surprise me, maybe.
There we have it. Vastamundo topple the Giants. Silence going to be in second place, no longer leading the charge. Vastamundo ahead of them. Vastamundo coming into this with 0 head start points, but playing confidently and fantastically throughout the games. They would let it go in that second game a little bit too much, but third game, but coming into this one, getting 25 points overall, which is the highest amount of points we've actually seen in a single game so far today. Plus, they're now the total kill leaders with 32 kills, ahead of Silence, who have 27. Trident on 51 points. They're now going to be 15 points behind Vastamundo. So this gap is closing. We've got 2 more games, and at the moment, even Na'Vi and I'd probably say even Na'Vi have a chance of this.
Well, it is.
I don't think MCS have a chance.
I would say so, right? Because the deficit between 5th place to 4th place is 15 points, and anything after that is more than 20 points. It is a huge lead, and with 2 more games, understandably, all of these very consistent teams, Vastamundo is the only one that finally broke through the 20-point mark. So it's gonna be tough.
Well, we also got some milestone rewards to give you. We're going to be giving the 10k one out once again, right down below us, floating in the middle of the air. Nice and spooky. So make sure to go to reward.ff.garena.com/EN, or like I think it's linked in the YouTube channel as well, probably in the chat. But enter that code. I'm not going to read it out, but we also have another reward code for you coming up in a moment, if I'm right in saying. It's going to be the 20k code just for you guys. This isn't just for us, this is also for you. We want to make sure to reward you, and there you go, the second code, which is going to be the 20k reward. And make sure again to go to that exact same spot and to be able to redeem that. And that's going to be for some fairly interesting prizes. I can't remember off the top of my head exactly what it's for, but the process is slightly different. Obviously, when you redeem this code, you don't get the reward instantaneously, you get a token, and with that token you have to use these tokens like fairly much immediately, like by the end of today, and you go and redeem your prize. You get to choose 1 of 4 for the 20k milestone, and same for the 30k one, you know, when we reach that. So the code is going to go away and it is gone, but what a game we have seen. I need a break.
FOMO is evident because I can't redeem that code because I play in the Southeast Asia region. Arena, give me one from Southeast Asia side. But well, ladies and gentlemen, now that we have concluded match number 4, we are gonna go off for a short little break, and once we are back, match number 5.
Free Fire. Welcome to the Kelly Show. Do you have to do that here and now? Season's reward will be the golden UMP.
You aren't even at heroic yet.
I'm gonna miss this place.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And I'm sure you're ready for us to go over towards Kalahari, the 5th map, the final Kalahari map. We just saw the final Bermuda map, and that was enough to take my breath away. It was fantastic. But again, we're going to be joined by Abstract. Make sure to go follow him on his social media channels, which you can find like such Abstract, and also myself, Tom Pickering. And follow me as well if you want, but most importantly, follow the Free Fire channels across the social media, on Instagram, on Twitter, and also most importantly, join the Discord communities, which are fantastic. Like I said, that game took my breath away. Abstract, Bustamundo playing out their mind, get 25 points.
Ooh, I would say that the day is not quite over yet, because unfortunately, even if they are at the top of the leaderboards right now, this very instant, it doesn't quite mean that they are out of the count just yet, you know, because, or rather they are technically the first place just yet, because all of these teams, Silence, Na'Vi, Trident Clan, they can still come back anytime, any day. If Trident Clan or not, in fact, if any of these CIS teams comes out and get themselves the next 2 Booyahs, and Vastamundo just performs terribly, which I sure hope doesn't happen, then unfortunately they will be dethroned. And looking at how they've been playing for match 1 all the way to match 4, they have been consistent. There have been a couple of downfalls onto their side, but somehow they still find themselves with a Booyah. Credits to Blazer with that the spark of brilliance from his side. They won that game just because of that. And I would love to see more of that kind of gameplay coming in from Vastamundo, just so that they will be able to keep their heads afloat of on the water, so that they are able to work around with the games.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, it's going to be difficult for them to be able to maintain that top spot, because they're only maintaining it by a couple of points. I don't even have, I didn't actually even screenshot the scores for myself, but they had 66 points, and it was only just above Silence by a couple of points there, like 3 points.
3 points, yeah, around
3 points lead. That is nothing for Silence. Like, they're just like, sure, we've averaged at, well, not including last game, they averaged at, I think it was like 18 points a game.
Yeah.
Which was insane. I don't know. Well, it's technically 18.5 or whatever it is, which is just crazy. We were just, well, 18.3 recurring, but I'm not going to get into the real maths on this front. Like, they're just an insane team, and unless another team take them down right off the bat, and I don't mean take them down to 2 players, because we saw that happen on Kalahari, but guess what? They still came in 3rd spot, almost 2nd, and they still managed to get, I think it was 18 points whilst being in 3rd. So they're scary. I think Bustamundo are in a solid position, so are Trident, but I just don't think it's over yet. I can still hear that singing, mate. Oh, you stopped. It's over. No.
I can't exactly go that long, but I wish I could. But in the end, right, we are just looking at Vastamundo. They didn't really quite have the situation where Na'Vi imposed that onto Vastamundo just yet. At least for Na'Vi, they know what they can do to wipe off this giant off of the leaderboards. If they want to play hyper aggressive and take Vastamundo away, that is what they can do. Run right into their faces, drive right into their faces, and bring them down. But the question is, or rather the problem is, we're looking at a battle royale game. There are no name tags floating above their head. You can't tell which team you're fighting against. If there's any team that is tactical, strategical enough, they are going to be switching up their skins over and over and over again for every single game, so that they don't have the same recurring skin playing in every single game. Easy for the opponent to spot out, oh, that is base or oh, that is not B, kind of thing. So technically saying, if there is going to be a team theme skin in Free Fire, boy, that is going to be really tough to play.
I want to see those. I want to see the team skins, like for the World Series. Come on.
Do actually, maybe more on the observer side, right? More.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's so that is actually one of the things that I will say to kind of wipe out what your thought process is. Is that there are actually no skins in game for these teams. They don't see skins. We see them. The actual games don't. So the actual players. So a little bit of like insight for you and those at home as well, that these players don't really see the same skins that we do as observers, as it were, of these games. So it's made out even more fair. on that front. And obviously none of the guns have the same sort of benefits that you do in like normal games. This is full esports mode where there's no extra buffs to the fire rates or extra damage or whatever. None of that rubbish. It's all about pure adrenaline and skill on this front. No sort of none of those other things, which is super fun and useful to play in normal games. When it comes to playing for money and playing for pride, you need to make sure that the battleground is, you know, perfectly clear and stable for all the players and all safe and even. But either way, like today's games have been absolutely fantastic. I'm looking forward to see what Kalahari brings us. I think the last game was really interesting. I want to see a very northern circle. I want to see it go over towards Council Hall. We saw that once during the Pro League, and it was super fun to watch. And we then have Purgatory, which again, I just want to see a water circle. Just come on.
Indeed. Just give us a water circle. Let Silver Spore embrace that aquatic life and just kind of bask in the glory of
we're gonna turn into dolphins or something. Yes, exactly that. Clip that if you're watching this, guys. That is the dolphin impression of the year. But yeah, they can start growing tails. Yeah, you know, it was good. But yeah, I mean, they do like spending a lot of time in that water. So we're still gonna have to see how they do. But first off, it is going to be Kalahari way up in a couple of seconds here, and I want to see this playing line. There we go. We're going to be dropping into this. Break this down for me.
Well, it is going to be a flight path, which I can't see for some reason, but the main thing is that we are looking at every single one of these teams in their own set spot of landmark. We have Vasorar in the sub, Mammoth with N9, the Maze with Silver Spore, Refinery with Trident, Shrine with Vastimundo, Not V in Hall, Confinement with Shift, Santa Catarina with Silence, and of course Stone Ridge. We are looking at V line, but there's two teams that I did not call out because apparently they have decided to jump inside of Bayfront, and surprisingly, yes, it is not Nagasaki. It is MCES Africa as well as Grub Esports.
And I mean, this has happened every single time we've actually played in Kalahari between these two teams, if I'm right in saying. And Grub Esports actually have a 100% win rate on this fight between these two teams. But we're going to be seeing MCS actually get knocked down on Gringo, but it's not over yet. Fire, he's up in the building with Mr. Ali, but he's going to be on low HP now. He's going to have to run away. Turns around, he's going to be able to get some shots, and he's going to get the knockdown as well. It's going to be Dowley chasing up behind. Fire's going to get taken down and also flushed out if he's not careful. But it's going to be Lizzie and the crew going to be coming in here. It's going to be MCS looking to pull down. They've got one player left alive, and they're standing. This is their last chance, and they're out of the campaign, out in 12th. It's not a silence this time. It is MCS Africa who gets slammed by Grub Esports, who need every point, every victory they can gather.
A little bit too early. MCS Africa, they haven't been doing very well in this series, and I gotta have to say, unfortunately for the MENA side, they haven't been popping off as much as I would love to see them, because when it comes down to actually working onto the MENA teams, Shift, they are the ones that we should definitely look out for. And I've talked with a Menakasa as well, Machiavelli. He does want to look at Nagasaki popping off time and time again. But unfortunately, it doesn't quite seem that Nagasaki is doing very well, because they are always dropping off in a loot zone, which unfortunately will have yet another team with them. And this is one of that rare times where Nagasaki, they are gonna be safe and sound for the first few minutes into the game and just kind of properly loot up. And Juanes does have quite a lot of utilities to boot. So I would say that Nagasaki should be able to get themselves into the later stages of the game just because of the fact that they have a lot of utilities in the name of grenades as well as blue walls.
Yeah, and hopefully that utility is going to be able to help them out long term, but it's going to be Trident taking shots over towards poor Nagasaki. They found themselves in a really difficult position here. And you know what? Trident, they want some revenge. They're just like, cool, you know what? We remember this kind of position. And it's going to be Juanes who's going to get taken down there by one of the players, and Kadyrov is just going to be above with the sniper. Oh, Beeline. They're going to get taken on by Vasorar as well. This is where we're going to be seeing things pop off as these teams have to push in closer to the circle. And as they have to try and find their own ground, and there's no sort of real vehicles. There are vehicles, but not real ones, the same amount that are easily accessible. And this land is just super hard to be able to drive around, so we don't see them in the same way that we do on Purgatory or Bermuda. Still going to be a bit of a slow play from these guys. They're going to be dropping a UAV. Very smart to do. They now know that there's actually a player directly below them, which I think they knew of anyway.
Just to find out the exact positioning, because they don't really quite have a very good idea where everyone is at that point in time. But we're gonna be shifting our perspective to look at Beeline with one person taken down, Grozny, while Sharksy, he's still alive though. He was knocked down just now, so at least he'll be safe and sound, at least at this very instant. But, well, I would say that I probably jinxed him. I definitely jinxed him, as the Vector Akimbo from Reverb takes him down. Beeline, half of their members are now gone, while Vasorar is still going on to the aggressive. While Nicholas comes in from the back, shots went for a little bit of a sniper pot shots. It's not going to be deterring the aggression from Vasorar, but this hot water chase is going to be throwing 6 in a very bad spot, or maybe not. That grenade is going to be able to help him get a knockdown on the packs, and he's currently in a very bad spot, completely out in the open. That glue wall is just not tall enough to deny the kill from the side of 6. And Beeline, at least if they were to get knocked down here or eliminated, at least they have 1 kill, or maybe 2 kills to their name.
This is horrendous from Vasorar. What are you doing? They managed to have 1 player get knocked down and flushed. 6. Fantastic play from him, actually. Going to be able to escape from that building, and his teammate is there to help. They're definitely a duo that could do a 2 versus 3, especially with the way that Vasorar have been playing versus them in past sort of moments. So I'm definitely concerned for them. As long as they just keep this going for way too long. And that is the knockdown of Beeline we're looking for. They're now going to be playing over aggressive shotguns in hands. It's going to be Cheetah at the front end with a bit of an unfortunate situation, but Reverb's going to be going up. Cheetah's going to go in with the scythe. He's like, I've had enough of this. Get down and out. And that's going to be the flush. And they managed to take down Beeline, but not without losing Papa. And they're going to be able to get some extra loot from these guys. Look at how many meds Cheetah has. This is really good for them. But you know what? The storm is here, and it's saying, time to move.
They don't have any grenades on their side, I think. At least onto Cheetah's utility belt. I don't see any frag grenades, so when it comes down to being aggressive, I don't think that they will be able to play very aggressively. On the flip side, we're looking at Dandy. A total of 9 frag grenades in his utility belt. It's gotta be really heavy, and I'm surprised that it's not weighing his pants down at this point in time. But now, we do have a very slight idea of how the leaderboard looks like. We've grown up with a total of 4 kills, and Vasorar with 4 kills. We gotta have to give it over to Grow Up at the top spot, because they have all 4 members still alive at this very instant. But do note, we're only 7 minutes into the game, and most of these teams, in fact 10 teams, is still alive. So there's still gonna be more bodies littering the streets.
Well, a bit of an interesting one. Let's see what these guys are going to be able to do. I just want to say, so Rustamundo doing their usual, holding up towards the north. Na'Vi holding out shift down south, southeast. We've got Vasorar making their way in. Nakazaki down to the south as well, backed away from Trident towards Sub, which was already looted up by Vasorar. And 9 over towards Mammoth, still hanging around the area for a long time. But I think the next fight is going to be, as you can see on the map, is going to be Na'Vi. But let's have a look at where the circle is going to land. Skyrex is going to be able to get a knock there, but they do have these vehicles, and storing them inside the buildings is fantastic. Bayfront is going to be a really good area for one of these teams to be able to try and take.
Well, Na'Vi though, they are going to be playing right by the extremities of the circle, but it does seem like Vashti is going to be able to find himself a single kill right down to Pablo, but it doesn't seem like it is going to be over just yet. 1 other player is from Shift. They are still outside the circle, but do note this is only the first half, or rather the first circle. So this storm is not going to hurt at all. So for Shift, they can still kind of play their way out of this. Don't work on the displacement into the circle. In fact, wrap around. Go counterclockwise. Go clockwise. Go around the council hall and just kind of play their ways into shrine or something like that. Don't run into the phases of Na'Vi because you have already lost 2 members. You gotta have to play for the circle. You gotta have to play for the placements from now on.
Yeah, it's going to be super difficult for Shift to just find themselves in a really good position. And overall, they've not really... They've played their best games this weekend, which is really good. But overall, not fantastic. Bustamundo going to get shoved out from shrines eventually, I think, in this kind of circle. Silversport going to be making their way in. There's still 10 teams left alive, even if a lot of them are losing players. It's obviously like 2 players from Nagasaki and from Shift are dead, 1 from Vesera. Oh, look at Vesera. They're chasing after Silence. That could be their downfall. And Shift, they're going 2 different directions. They're just like, you know what? Split up and hope for the best. But unfortunately, I don't think it's going to do them very well. We're going to be seeing Silence coming on the fight. They might go down. Cheetah's going to be able to take down Subo. This is exactly what they need. This is exactly what Bustamundo needs.
Bobby needs. They would just want to bring down Silence, but unfortunately, they did bring 1 person down. They're not going to go for the execute. They don't have the idea, and they don't have an idea as to where all of the other Silence players is. But at least Subo is completely out of reach for Des, Donu, or perhaps even Dandy. So with only 3% left onto Silence, Vesera can actually have a rather fair fight against Silence in a 3 versus 3 manner. So if they really want to jump right in and try to completely isolate the players of Silence, they can do that. But technically, they shouldn't. They should not run out like that with their hands up in the air trying to wave a white flag, because right now they are technically being pincered. As Silence, they do have a really good crossfiring position.
It's super difficult to be able to try and say which one of these teams is going to be able to come out of this one looking pretty, because I think they're both going to lose so many members. Silversport versus N9. There is a UAV here. N9 are just going to be getting demolished. I think in this kind of situation, they're on so low HP, but never mind. It's going to be Madness losing his health, and he's going to get taken down. Flushed even. Astrox, though, as well. It's going to be just back and forth between these 2 teams. Stop shooting at Astrox. Just let him die to the storm now. But remember, this is the second storm here. Chef is down as well. Both of these teams are just self-destructing at this point. I think it's great for them to be able to get some kills and try to make it up, because obviously it's not just about first place, it is also trying to make your way up on the leaderboard so you get a chance of being able to get some extra cash. And now they're going to go flush out Chef, but I thought that grenade was going to get a knockdown there. It doesn't happen. They're just going to continue to try and push in here. Donu is going to be able to flush out Cheetah, though. Silence looking to demolish them if they're not careful. Yumit is going to be taking lots of damage here, but he's going to be busy looting up whilst N9 are running away on the other direction. He's going to be able to heal up decently there, but it's going to be Silence we're going to be watching. They're going to be able to take out and flush Vesera. And there's no other teams, I don't think, that are going to be taking these guys on. So this is going to leave Silence with 3 members and 4 kills.
But on the flip side, it is going to be Victor. He tried to run over the opponents, but it doesn't seem like he will be able to do that. He has managed to eject away from his car, hiding behind this small little ridge. At least there's a little bit of a curve down, while Yumit have decided to run right into his face, bring him down. And that is a total of 4 kills to the name of Silversport. This may potentially be the game that Silversport have got the most amount of points. I'm not too sure, though. That could be a chance here. But Shadio, being the last member remaining, a couple of grenades through the wall, not enough to kill Dandy, or rather, it did not connect onto Dandy. But most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, we're looking at Shift being completely destroyed, while Shift's Dandy is the last member remaining. No one to crossfire with. He's gotta have to play very passively and trying to pull a blazer at this point in time.
I mean, Trident are looking fairly good. Bustamundo are looking fairly good, but Silence, not so much. And neither are Grow Up Esports. They're getting completely demolished by the last 2 members of Silversport there, it seems like. And this is hilarious. Nagasaki, they managed to get one of the kills on Trident in the second game earlier on. And now they're kind of in a situation where they have to hide from Trident's teams as they try to make their way in here.
Oh, no.
Bustamundo they're going to be up against Civisport and also Grub Esports, who are on the other side of this wall. They're going to be able to find them. It's going to be Silence. They've gone out in 6th position. That means they've got a total just under 10 points. This is a big opportunity here for Bustamundo and Trident and also Na'Vi. But saying that, Lucker's going to be going down. Grew Up Esports to look at her dent a hole in the scoreline for Bustamundo. Lizzie's going to be chiming in. He's going to be able to get a knockdown. Why was he allowed just to enter the building so easily? They're going to be able to get the revival off, but for how long? Crush going to be able to knock himself, not the oppositions. That's going to be Bustamundo going out in 5th, helping the opposition by killing themselves.
Trident, though, came out from nowhere. Katarov did go for the kill with the grenade launcher, and do know that they were actually pretty far away. Right now, Vastamundo is out. Na'Vi is in this game. We're looking at Civisport is still in the game. Trident is in the game as well. And not to forget, ladies and gentlemen, we still have one big boy that is also still alive in here. So let's be honest. 4 teams, 11 members. Na'Vi have 4 members. They are still very strong. So I'm not too sure if whether Grub Esports is able to work their way through this. They gotta have to find a way to stay alive.
Well, I mean, first off, it's going to be Trident trying to lead the charge here. They have the opportunity to be able to take first place if they get enough kills in enough place. They've got 10 kills so far, and they have an opportunity to be able to take this on. They only need 15 points to be able to make it up above, or at least the last score line. So there's a massive opportunity. It's going to be CIS versus CIS here. Last 2 teams. Na'Vi, they're just demolishing the likes of Trident. DD's going to be looking to charge up. He's going to have to stop in Hill, but he's still going to get a charge. It's going to be Trident going out. Grenades going huge. And that is going to be a GG. Well played. Booyah to the side of Na'Vi. Another CIS team taking a win. It's going to be Na'Vi's first of today, but what a win.
I would say about time for Na'Vi to take a booyah for themselves, right? Preliminary day 1 and day 2, they have gotten so much booyah to the name, and technically we could say that they technically showed their hands a little bit too early. That's why game number 1 to game number 4, they didn't really manage to get too much wins for themselves, because technically the opponents know how they play. And we can technically also say that a lot of the teams in day 1 and day 2, they were just holding themselves back. And now Na'Vi have got a problem here, is that they couldn't get a lot of these wins. But now that they managed to get this win to the name, I believe that they should be able to get at least 15 points. And it should be able to bring them to 3rd place, I hope. Maybe, I'm not too sure. Maybe still shy bit away from away from Silence, as well as Trident Clan. But Trident, though, coming up with 2nd place and 10 kills, that is gonna be big. 19 points to the name, and they should be able to climb their way up the leaderboard.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit disappointed with Bustamundo, to be honest. I think that was a really bad way of going out. We saw Crusher knock himself out with a grenade launcher. I think, in honest, they allowed Grub Esports to be able to slam them there, and I'm happy for Grub Esports to be able to take that on. But we're going to be looking at the post-match stats, and of course, Trident going to be up there with 4 kills, and Na'Vi going to be joint up there, and so are Civisport, surprisingly. So joint 1st place across the board for Civisport, Na'Vi, and Trident there for rank 1 when it comes to kills, and 2nd is going to be Skyrix with 3 kills. So that's really good for these teams. Na'Vi going to be able to have 2 players up here. So we went from no CIS players to 3 in the post-match stats, plus the first, I think, Turkish member to make his way on here, and that is going to be Umit 3333, who managed to get 3 kills. And you know what, Civisport, they managed to just hang on and survive that. Taking on N9, they lost half their members and really got punished for it. So I'm glad to see that they were able to actually come through on that one. And so these kills can definitely help and potentially make it so they actually get some extra cash at the end of the day. But for right now, it doesn't mean, too much.
Well, I'm rather speechless because you may have a little bit of disappointment onto Vastamundo for going out like that, but I do have my own grievances when it comes down to looking at Silence, because they performed so well in the first half, but when it comes down to the second half, it kind of seems as though they are losing steam. They have a total of 9 points to their name. Yes, still a little bit above of Vastamundo, but not enough, I would say, not enough. And Silence, they were just a shy bit away from Vastamundo, so Vastamundo may actually just lose their top spot after being knocked out at such a placing. So Na'Vi, 21 points, Trident Clan, 19 points. It is going to shake up the lobby at this very instant, and how it's going to be looking like when it comes down to the overall.
My prediction is it's going to look exactly the same, aside from Na'Vi making their way up further. Yes. And also, like, obviously lower that. I'm just talking about the top 4 here.
Right.
I think it's going to still be Vastamundo, Silence, Trident Clan, and then Na'Vi. I think that is going to be, and maybe, I mean, Na'Vi with 21 points, that's going to be interesting, but because of like where the difference was, this should be the case. But let's have a look if I was right. Boom! I predicted it correctly, and look how close it is. 73, 72, 70, and 66. And you still, you know what? Most sort of biggest thing about this to note is Vaser are in 5th, but also the actual bigger thing is that Vastamundo had no head start points. Neither did Vaser are, and they're up here with the CIS teams who got the most amount of points. Silence started this with 7 head start points. Trident and Na'Vi, they both started this with 5 each as well. So they really had every bit of advantage coming into this. And yet, Vastamundo, they're up there. Even with only 1 kill in that last game, they've managed to achieve 2 booyahs.
I gotta have to say, Vastamundo with only 1 point on top of Silence, and Silence with 2 points on top of Trident, and Trident with 4 points on top of Na'Vi. The top 4 teams are basically gonna be interchangeable when it comes down to the final game. I have never seen a series like this that came down so much to the wire, because there's always been the fact that the first place is always at having a massive headspace above the second place and third place and fourth place, so on and so forth. So I am just absolutely delighted to see how this game has become. I think that the head start point meant quite a lot to the CIS team here.
Yeah, I mean, if you consider that if they didn't have those head start points, Vastamundo would be even further ahead. Like they've technically got those pure points fully deserved in this single one. They've had no head start on that front, so that just makes it even more impressive to me. And like me and you were talking about this during the break, there's not been a single EU team that managed to stand up tall when it comes to like the Continental Series, and definitely not on the Free Fire World stage either, where we actually just saw all these players like completely fall down. But this time, Vastamundo come in here with a new lineup, a first time going up against these teams, and they're holding their position. I don't know what that means for Free Fire World Series next year, but so far they're doing us proud, and the rest of the time. So let's go into a quick break, and we'll be back for the final game, and it is going to be a very spicy one. I'm interested to see what we're going to be seeing on Purgatory. We will see you guys in 5 minutes.
Free Fire. Welcome to the Kelly Show. Do you have to do that here and now? Season's reward will be the golden UMP.
You aren't even at heroic yet.
I'm gonna miss this place.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We're going to be going into the 6th and final matchup of today. And today has been one of the best days I think I've casted in Free Fire throughout my whole career as a commentator within the Free Fire area. It has just been rich, like stock full of amazing games. And just honestly, I think every team has shown up and has done really well. Abstract, what do you feel?
Well, I could echo that thought like as though you are speaking with my mind intact in your skull, right? Because I have never seen a Free Fire major that has been so tight on the front side, on the top side, right? It's literally tight, whereby everything goes down to the wire, down to the final game. If one of these top 4 teams lose out early game, or rather they just get absolutely knocked out, they lose the chance to climb all the way up to the first place, because all the way from first, second, third and fourth, they all have a chance to go home with 50,000 USD, and thus may the best winner win.
Well, we're going to be jumping into Purgatory, the final map of today of the EMEA Invitational, fighting for a total prize of $200,000. The 12 top teams across the whole of EMEA, including teams from Turkey, Africa, and just the Europe itself, and also the CIS regions. It has been a tremendous event today. We've seen Silence dominate. We've seen Mundo come out of the woodwork and dominate. Even Na'Vi in that final game just proving their prowess. And you know what, Mundo, they're like, give us that high loot zone, baby.
Well. Let's take a look at the flight path here. Mundo decided to head their way over to Lumber Mill with the high loot zone inside of Brasilia. N9 and Shift will be facing off with one another, while the Western Island 3 teams will be in here with Marbleworks with Silver Sport as well as Beeline within of Marbleworks, and Grub Esports inside of Quarry and Golf Course. Up in the top and the eastern side, we've got Vasorar, followed by Trident, Nagasaki, MCS Africa, as well as Na'Vi. We shouldn't be looking at too much early game fights, and only after these teams bump up from their initial loot zones, which is technically 3 minutes in, or maybe 4 minutes in. Only after 4 minutes, they are done looting their first landmark, they will move on to the next, and we should start to see at least 3 different skirmishes. That is what I'm predicting.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think over towards Marbleworks, it'll be the first place we see Grub Esports have a tendency to play a little bit over aggressive on that area, which usually sees them getting slapped down by some of these other teams, even by Silver Sport, who again don't end up too well on this map that we saw last Sunday, and also last Purgatory game, which was game 3. But we also have Shift and N9 very close together in Brasilia. But hopefully they all know their boundaries and not to cross this road yet. Because as soon as you cross that road, that's going to really be inviting the pain. Beautiful overview here. We're going to see Nagasaki and Trident, 2 teams that I think have had a really big rivalry during this whole tournament. Well, not during the whole tournament, sorry, during this whole last day. They've really sort of had to try and battle it out against each other. And we also obviously saw last time Nagasaki get wiped out the face of the earth by Trident on Purgatory. It doesn't seem like that's going to happen as fast this time round.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am just excited to see what these teams have got in store for us. We are 3 minutes into the game. The first landmark looting spree is about to be over. These teams are about to make their way over to the next landmark to get themselves more loot. That means more glue walls, more grenades. But one of these teams will fight against another team, as they will come in with a conflict of interest. And who is that gonna be? Mundo have decided to make their way over to the southern side, and they actually may come up and fight with Silence inside of Fire Brigade. Is it really gonna be it? We are looking at Mundo at the first place right now, Silence on second place. If the 2 of them fight it out, it is gonna be really tough to work with. In the meantime, looking at Trident Clan, they have made their way over to Mode House, so they are gonna be safe. While Na'Vi, they are inside Forge. They have been farming all the way through. If they decided to wrap their way down to the southern side, they will be A-okay.
Yeah, I mean, just having 1 point advantage on Vostamundo's side, I mean, this is such a tight last game. It's impossible for me to be able to say which team's going to win right up until the last moment, because it could be Na'Vi, it could be Trident, it could be Silent, or even the European lads themselves, Vostamundo, who haven't had a major under their belt. They've never actually won a major title. No EU team have. So I really want to see that change. It would be absolutely wonderful for that to happen, especially for Vostamundo. They've gone through a lot here. But anyway, we're going to be seeing... actually, I thought Grab Esports would have played a little bit more aggressively up towards Sivaspor and Beeline, but that has not the case. There's been no skirmishes. It's been 4 minutes. Our sort of prediction of that early... like the fight to happen around this time is looking a little bit lackluster, but the circle has forced the teams up over towards the mainland, away from these two bottom southern islands. No water circles for me today, unfortunately, but probably the best for competitive integrity. But we are going to be seeing Nagasaki and N9 go back to old habits and start fighting it out.
Fight it out, ladies and gentlemen, fight it out. N9, post game 5, they have found themselves all the way down at 7th place, while Nagasaki found themselves in 12th place. They may be able to climb up a little bit more if they are able to get themselves the booyah here, because they have got 16 points to the name, while Sivaspor have got 27 points. So if they do get themselves more than 11 points right now in this game, they will be able to get themselves an upgrade of double the amount that they get, from 5,000 to 10,000. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, we may be looking at an uprising here. Laka Nunes, they managed to bring 2% down from the side of Silence, but they're trying to push their way onto Vastamundo, trying to punish that one knockdown that they managed to get. They managed to isolate Dandy. They isolated Daz as well. Silence, 2 of them knocked down by the hands of Vastamundo. What is this?
Make that a 3-point lead. Wow, okay, Silent, that was not exactly what they expected, and Vostamundo like, oh, you know what? Thanks for the ride, lads. We're gonna take this and we're gonna head to the mainland, because that's exactly where these guys are gonna need to head. And you know what? They need to make sure they don't get cut off. And Donu, he's waiting. He's got the MP5, the grenades. You know what? It's not over yet, but Donu is very much alone. If he takes a single shot here, I would say he's probably dead. I would just say there's no way that they'd be able to do this. But now we're going to be seeing this potential clothesline effect from Vostamundo. They're like, well, actually, we want to make sure these guys aren't going to be able to do anything. But I don't think they realize they're running straight past one of the players. And this is exactly what you need. The trigger discipline of knowing when to shoot and when not to. Because now they're behind Vostamundo, these guys aren't going to expect this. Crusher, he's just running with his sword out. He has 0 cares. They're all just grouped up.
No care.
Think what a single grenade could do right now.
It would be insane, but I don't think that Donu would put himself on the target board like that. He just wants to play it safe. In the meantime,
Na'Vi,
game 6. Look at this. Look at Brasilia, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone else is scurrying around. But for now, let's take a look at the northern side. Trident, they are going to be fighting against Sivaspor. And Sivaspor, they gotta have to hold their own in this game as well, because we may see potential changes when it comes down to the lower half of the brackets too. Every single one of these players have got a place to play. They need to ensure that they either go up or stay where they are, because they may downgrade their prize money if they do not do well in this game. Nazias moves on a counterclockwise direction. He's starting to make his way over to one of Sivaspor's members, and I do hope that Sivaspor, they can hold their ground nicely, because if Shift even gets 1 point on top of Sivaspor, if Sivaspor didn't even get a single point, they will be downgraded from 10,000 USD to 5,000 USD.
I will say, there is not a single top 4 team that is in Brasilia yet, but the closest is Na'Vi, and that's scary. If Na'Vi manage to get a position there, they could be securing themselves the win. But at the same time, Trident, they're looking to pick themselves up some 3 points here, take down Madness, Chef. He's running away in a bit of a weird direction, but he's trying to meet up with one of his teammates, the last team member left alive on Sivaspor, who you know what? I asked for them to prove themselves to me on a like, I was still waiting for them to prove themselves to me, and so far they have failed. But we're gonna be seeing Grobby Esports come in here. Grozny's gonna get dropped down. No flush. It's not gonna happen yet, but we're gonna be seeing Six gonna come under fire as well. He's gonna be behind that glue wall, but how long is that glue wall gonna be able to stand up? I'm a little bit disappointed these guys weren't active fast enough, but Gringo's gonna be able to get another knockdown here, and they're holding them. There's no storm coming in there, so there's not too much for these guys to worry about. I want to see where the last 2 members of Silent are and where Vostamunda are. That's what really matters here, and Na'Vi.
How is this gonna be like, ladies and gentlemen? Even I also have no idea how it's gonna be like. But Silence, Subo, and Donu, they're right now outside of the circle. Na'Vi is no longer playing onto the eastern part of the circle trying to gatekeep anymore, because they know that that's technically no point in trying to put themselves out in the open like that, trying to earn more points. Most importantly, they need to stay afloat, get themselves the placements, because this is the game where you need to play for placements. Every single game, you can go for kills. This is the only one game that you should not try to go for that. Naturally, when you get yourself the booyah, you will get yourself at least 4 kills, all right? At least 4 kills. And that is 16 points to your name already. If you realize that one of the teams out there at the top 4, they have got a lot of kills, then yes, you will need to make some moves. But now, with all 12 teams still available, and they still have got a fighting chance, you should not make any rash decisions just yet.
When you just look at the map here, Vostamunda are trying to find their way into the circle, and they're having to dodge around Na'Vi. Like, Na'Vi are currently in a really strong position, and it's calculated. They know what they're doing. They know that they're potentially holding out teams from this side. They also know that Vostamunda and Silence went at it together and are in difficult positions. MCS have managed to get a couple of vehicles, but they are going to have to go for a long rotation around this wall to be able to get down in time, and hopefully they don't get slammed by something here. We are going to be seeing Vostamunda take on Donu. Donu's been found. This is Silence potentially going to have the mouth covered, and just, you know, like the small just be quiet, just be quiet. As we see, it's going to be the 3rd kill there. Somehow Sabu is still alive right now, but Silence, Civiswall rather, I think they have actually seen Silence, and they might just be able to take the shots here. We're going to be seeing Sabu go back into the storm.
Subo now being the last member remaining, the best play that he can whip up from his book of tactics is to go outside of the circle, play as safe as he can, just to go for the placements, and understandably, that will be the best way for you to stay afloat. Vastamundo, 3 kills to their name. High and above Silence by a total of 4 points. A total of about 3 plus.
Oh, he's doing it!
Oh! Subo! Despite being the last member remaining, he managed to get himself a single point for his team, just so that they can clutch out for the final moment.
Civiswall in the water again. The aquatic movement continues. But meanwhile, it's going to be Shift versus Trident. I don't really think it's going to fare well for Shift, and this is potentially just going to be even more kills for the side of Trident. Look at this. Like, they're in such a bad position, I think, versus Trident, but you know what? They are managed to land some damage, and it's going to be Silence going out. Crop Esports take them out. That is them out of the contention for 1st place. Silence, they did so well, but at the last hurdle, they fall over, and Vostamunda were able just to, you know, put the gag order in and just force them down. But now Trident, they know, they just seen that that one of their main components is out. They've got 2 kills so far. They know that they need a bunch more, and Shift are the next target.
The next target is going to be within the size of Trident. Kadrov wants to help his fellow friend Zamaro to be safe and sound, but for now, the rest of Shift have decided to run down the ridge. This is not going to be a good idea if you ask me, because if Trident manage to get themselves at the top of this ridge, and they would want to find themselves on top of Silence, on top of Shift, they will have the upper hand because of the fact that they will be on a higher ground. In the meantime, Papax lays down the lead right down onto Zyzox. That is going to be 1 kill to the name. Trident gets 2, or rather gets 1 knockdown and 1 kill itself onto Shadio. But doesn't seem like that is going to be over just yet. Vashni from Navi taken down. Zamaro following on through. Navi! Spider-Gore goes in and brings down the rest of the members from the side of N9 down, but it doesn't seem like it is going to be over just yet. Still 2 more members from N9 remains. DD and Skyrix, they're currently having their back against the wall, literally and liberally. DD, he does have the grenade launcher. Will he want to lob 1 grenade launcher down onto the flight of stairs? Will he be able to get the kills down? But Lucka, Vastamundo comes in, swoops in the kill, gets Krill right now. A total of 3, a total of 4 kills gonna be credited over to their heads. And I don't know whether they know this. Up onto the 2nd floor, it is gonna be Navi awaiting for the death.
And we are going to be seeing Crusher lob up the grenades. Hopefully he doesn't knock himself down this time. He doesn't. He takes down DD. Oh no! He does knock himself down. It's going to be Nakazaki coming in from below. This could actually spell the end of Bustamundo. They're in a bad position right now. Vesera going to be going out, but it's going to be Skyrix knocking down 1. Crusher is going to be going down. This is a terrible position for them. We're going to need to see Skyrix try to jump out the window, but I don't know if he actually can and do it safely. But he's going to be staying up here, and we've got Nakazaki going to get taken down by Trident as well, who's going to be joining in on the fight. I don't know what's going to be happening in this situation. Nakazaki going to be losing multiple, and Skyrix is going to be jumping out the window saying, yeah, I don't want anything to do with this. Let me drive out of this situation. And we're going to be seeing Trident just push in below Bustamundo, who are jumping outside of the building and going for another one on this front. Nakazaki have to be super careful. Somehow this situation has kind of diffused, and Navi managed to drive away from this situation because everyone is just so focused internally.
But Trident, currently, they have a total of 8 kills to their name. They're just gonna be rampaging and rummaging through the entire premise and ensuring that no one is within the building. Every single one of Vastamundo, they are still alive, but looking at a split view, looking at Beeline, they're moving up onto the side of Grub Esports. That is gonna be a kill coming from 6. He gets 2 for himself. And Vastamundo onto the other screen. They are gonna be safe and sound for now, but they do have eyes on the Trident. But for now, Damaro taken down, eliminated by Crusher. That is going to be 1 member from the side of the Trident clan that is going to be eliminated. But Nunes have decided to put himself in the face of the opponents. He's going to be knocked down. He's going to be eliminated by the hands of Katarov. It's going to be 3 versus 3. Vastamundo, they gotta have to come up with an emergency plan right now, as Lucka's emergency plan is going to be whipping out his sides and slicing and dicing away.
And they're just going to be just in this building together, trying to make their way out of it. Even they don't want anything to do with this. They're just like, okay, we need to chill. We need to make sure we're in this final circle. Navi somehow still here. They've got enough kills to potentially try and win this. Trident going to be sharing this building. Nakazaki going to be coming up behind. He's going to be a thorn in the side of Bustamundo in this one. He's going to be jumping in behind. And you know what, Trident, they've got fantastic position right now. We're going to be seeing Grub Esports drop down, and Lucka is going to get taken down, unfortunately, by Nakazaki, but the grenade launcher is going to be coming in. Nakazaki go out, Lucka revived, but knocked out instantly due to the zone. The recovery should happen on him. There we go. And now it's going to be a grenade coming out. Skyrix is going to be finding himself under fire. It doesn't manage to take him down, but Blaze is going to go down, unfortunately, from behind. The grenade launcher is going to be going in. It's going to be Merz getting dropped down, but so is Crusher. It's going to be 2 versus 1, and that's going to be BM out in third. This could be Trident's game. They've got 16 kills so far. There's 1 member left. It is going to be Skyrix. Is this going to be a last minute turnaround from the likes of Trident, who I don't think could do this without getting 17 kills? They just need 1 final one. It's going to be the grenade going out, doing a lot of damage, but not enough. He's finally going to go out. Navi, go out. Trident, your prediction have come out on top. 17 kills plus the Booyah. That is a total of 29 points in a single game. An insane turnaround from the CIS gods.
This is insane. Never did I thought that Trident Clan will end the game, end the day with such a big, loud bang. with so many kills to their name. Like, I thought that the name of the game is that you're supposed to play safe. You're not supposed to go around killing everyone else in the lobby because you are already in contest for the champion title. Trident Clan, they came up. They came, they saw, they conquered. Every single one of the members coming inside of this game. 17 kills is no small number. They have defeated Silence. They have defeated Na'Vi. They have defeated Vastamundo. How are they going to celebrate this victory?
I don't know, but this is a crazy turn of events. Like, I'm fairly certain Trident have won this, but there's still the off chance. And I mean, Vastamundo performed really well, but it just wasn't good enough in my opinion. I think they should have been able to do a lot more damage to Trident, but Trident were just walking all over everyone. I think there was a lot of kills that Vastamundo missed out on being able to get, and I think Wannis coming in and just doing a lot of damage to them really was a sucker punch. And although they managed to get the kill on him, they still used up a lot of their actual ability to be able to make it through into the final sort of fight there. And unfortunately, just Crusher again, missing the grenade launcher onto himself earlier on, really put themselves at a disadvantage versus Na'Vi, and might have been the really sort of kryptonite to them. But I think overall, Nazal's there just going in there and taking the knockdown. That should have been clear to the final players there, Crusher and co, that they weren't safe to be able to go in for that revive. But let's have a look at the final post-match stats.
With a total of 11 kills. 11 kills onto Naziles. With 4 kills onto Sex, 3 onto Crusher, 3 onto Lurker. Naziles single-handedly carried 50%, if not more than 50%, 60 or 70% of his entire team kill count. This guy have got his entire team on his shoulders. They all stood onto one another like a human turret. They are the guys that are walking around with a tank. They are an artillery squad. And they are not going to stop here and now. This EMEA Invitational is just absolutely insane, and I can't wait to see the final breakdown of scores. But Tom, what have you got to say about this post-match statistics?
I mean, if Trident are going to win, they're going to do it in a style, and I think this just goes to prove that if they do manage to take that first spot, which we don't know yet until the final results, like, this is a way to do it, and very well deserved. I mean, 11 kills, that isn't insane. That's one of the highest kills I think we've seen throughout this whole tournament. I don't think it's the highest. I think I'm close to, but not quite. But let's have a look at the match standings of Game 6. Here we go. 29 points for Trident Clan, 15 for Vastamundo, Beeline 12, Na'Vi with only 10, Grow Up Esports with 9, Face Ra with 7. You know what? Silence, they managed to get 1. I'm not even sure how. I don't like, who did they end up killing? Oh, it was Silversport, one of the members there. Shift with 0 back down at the bottom, but overall 29 points for Trident. Come on.
29, ladies and gentlemen, 29 for Trident Clan. 17 kills, placed at first place. The boo, yeah. Vastamundo, 8 placement points, 7 kills to the name, and I dare say this, 15 points is a very consistent number onto Vastamundo. They would have retained their top spot nevertheless if Trident Clan did not go ham in this game.
Let's have a look at the champions here, and it is going to be Trident who's still that first place. GG, well played. Big booyah to the CIS lads on the Trident side. Give them a big round of applause, everyone, if you can at home. GG, well played. I'll do it myself as well. Mers, Tomaso, Naziz, Desmaro, Kantarov, and Alvi. I'm going to butcher some of those names, but GG, well played to all of them. What have you got to say about that?
Well, I would love to let Trident Clan bask in their glory, but before they bask in their glory, I would like to bask in my own glory of prediction, right? Trident Clan at the top of my power rankings, it does ring to be true, followed by a Vastamundo or Na'Vi. But to be very specific, I put Na'Vi on top of Vastamundo. And thus, I dare say this, Vastamundo exceeded my expectations when it comes down to the power rankings. Let's break this down. Trident Clan, 99 points, just 1 point shy from hitting that 3-digit mark. Vastamundo, 88 points, not B, 76.
You know what? Without going off ham there, without those extra 11 points from that single player, they were on high with Vastamundo. So if they hadn't popped off in that one game, they were far, far beneath. I mean, if you like, they would have been on 29 kills, if I'm actually doing my math correctly. So that would have been quite like 11 points below Vastamundo in regards to kills. So like there is a crazy sort of a level of skill that took from Trident. They had to play full aggressive. I would say they met some of the feed kills. They met up with Shift. They met up with Nagasaki. Two of the teams that have definitely been feeder kills. But look at this, MVP coming out from the one and only 21 kills across these games. GG, well played for him, getting nearly half the points for his whole team by himself. Definitely carried by this player and individual. So Trident, although a very good team, I do hope to see some of the other members pulling their weight.
Congratulations over to Trident Clan as they find themselves to be the champions of the Free Fire EMEA Invitational with a whopping and a very confident number of 99 points to their name. Vastamundo came so close to it all with 88 points, and I gotta have to say, they have definitely marked themselves onto the EMEA stage. While I do want to put, I do want to let Nazia's bask in own glory as well. 11,000 damage delivered throughout the entire series today. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no other way. There's no way that you guys are not entertained. And this is where I'm just standing at one point and shouting at you guys, are you not entertained? Because this is so good.
All right, Russell Crowe, calm down. What a fantastic set of games we've had today. Can't be disappointed with it. It was really just a good one from everyone. So we're going to have some codes down below, 10k, then 20k, and then eventually 30k, so everyone can play in that final one. But I do have to say that was a really good performance just by every team. Well, almost every team. I think some teams definitely have some, performance checks they need to put in on themselves. I think Civisport, again, I don't think they've proved themselves to me, but Navi, Vastamundo, even Vasaranzo have been doing absolutely fantastic. 20k code down below, and I'd like to see, these teams come back in. We've got the World Series next year. I'm super excited to see how they're going to do and sort of improve from this point onwards as well.
I do want to see how they perform onto the big stage, especially since Vastamundo haven't really been doing very well in the big stage, but this is a big stage that we are looking at. But ladies and gentlemen, such a great game. We gotta have to reward you guys for coming in, for hitting that 30,000 viewer milestone, and thus we have got another milestone for you guys. Make sure you guys go over to www.reward.ff.garena.com/en, collect that code, change that code over to a token, and that token will give you the reward that you desire.
There you go. You couldn't have said it better myself. Today, I've been lost of words at times for some of this gameplay. It has been super enjoyable to be able to actually cast. I think Vastamundo definitely need to review some of the game choices. We saw them fall short in 2 different games today, which could really have been the difference between them winning. But you know what? With or without the head start points, they actually managed to do really well. But you know what? With the extra 5 points on the side of Trident, it didn't matter. Even without those extra 5 points, they would have won either way. So I think that just has to say, so that was really well played. But it has been an absolute glorious showdown for us. Abstract off to my side, myself, Tom Pickering. We'll see you guys next time, but this has been the EMEA Invitational.